Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kickout Crew, episode 11. Thanks for reminding me, Devyn. Sounds like heaven. But we have a very special episode today. But before we get into that, we want to thank everyone for the overwhelming support that we had. Really appreciate the comments, the feedback, the retweets, the messages, the calls, the texts. Really appreciated the feedback we had from our last episode. And I have a feeling this next episode is going to be a little more special because not only do you have us, if you're watching on YouTube, you can also see that we have Brandi Wagner. Brandi, welcome to the show, and tell the people about yourself.
Thank you. Well, as I was announced, I'm from Alaska, so I just got home from work. Been a wrestling fan for 30 years. Women's wrestling is my jam, so of course I had to come rescue y'all from yourself with this series.
Thank you.
No, we appreciate it because we're having fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Y'all have done pretty good so far.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandi.
Hey, Brandi, you said that Devyn had a quote about Lita in the last show, and I asked the guys earlier, what was actually said that this young pipsqueak said to disrespect Lita?
Well, so what happened was I saw a tweet from Zol, who was giving his feedback on the show and saying that he had said something about Lita, and I had not gotten to that point yet because I was spending 10 hours trying to listen for all of Brad's ums. And all Devyn did was say that he preferred Lita to Trish, and that's a taste issue, personal taste, all good. At first I was ready to kill him because I'm like, who said what about Our Lady of Extreme? But no, he's okay.
Yeah, it's the other way around. I prefer Trish over Lita. But yeah, I didn't say too much. I love Lita too. She's a legend in the business. But there's no beef between me and Brandi.
No, I just want to know what you said. I mean, your opinion's your opinion. Everyone's entitled to that. You're never wrong.
Absolutely. No, he just prefers Trish to Lita, whereas most everybody in the crew preferred Lita, but it was kind of evenly split. I'll be the tiebreaker. Lita wins.
Thank you. Nice. Well,
she's the better worker.
There we go. Already off to a fast start for sure. Speaking of fast starts, Devyn's up on the scene. Devyn, let the people know about yourself. How you feeling this week, bud?
Oh boy, if you guys listened last week, you'll know that my fiance Erica had COVID. Well, now I've got it. So my head's been stuffed, runny nose, I got all the symptoms, but I'm still here with you guys. Couldn't miss this couldn't miss this at all. This is always fun.
Nice.
Super.
That's the dedication that Devyn has. So we just had a court case about questioning his loyalty, and here he is with COVID. So sometimes things just come full circle, I guess. Mike, how's your week been, man? You got anything crazy going on?
Week's been going good. Getting ready to have some family come in town this weekend. Be here in probably about an hour or so. So have a good old weekend planned out for that, and daughter's birthday coming up, niece's birthday, and ready for a nice little family time.
Yeah, and cook like yourself for the 4th of July, Mike's Mean Minute type stuff.
They've already got a menu ready for me.
Here, bro.
That's right. I already got tomorrow cooking, Saturday I'm cooking, and Sunday I'm cooking.
Hope you got plenty of ketchup for them hot dogs.
And pizza.
Right. Oh man. But that's a good little intro. I'm gonna kick it over to Brad. So we maybe intro to what we're talking about a little bit there, Brad.
Well, first off, Brandi, what's the count for St. Jude? If you guys remember, hold on, let's remember. Last week, Brandi was counting at home. How many Brad said? Now these do not count, coach, but the that after I said starting now. Brandi, what's the damage?
Does he have to go take a loan out for saying something?
Hey, I'm right here.
He might have to. The total count from episode 10 was 75.
Ooh, I was close. I said 88.
Yes. So in the first 15 minutes, he had 15 ums. In the first 30 minutes, the count went up 9 to 24. In the first hour, it went up 17 to 41. In the next half an hour, it was 22 for a total of 63. And in the final 30 minutes was its grand total of 11. And then in that, 3 minutes after the 2-hour mark was 1. So 75 ums.
All right, so $75 to St. Jude. I'm going to go ahead and round that up to 100 because I think there was many ahs in there as well. And it's
You also said, I don't know a lot.
Yeah, I
Or
don't.
however.
That's a fact. I don't know. And half the time I just keep talking and can't find where I'm supposed to be in my notes. So we're going to round it up to 100. It's for a good cause. And we're not going to do that today because, I don't know if you guys noticed, we don't have any sponsors yet. But maybe down the road, we will consider doing that again. So let's talk about what
Otherwise, that's going to get very expensive.
today's episode is going to be. Now, we originally said in the last episode that this was going to be, well, first we said it was going to be a 3-parter. Then we said, well, there's no way we could do it in 3 parts. So now it's 4. Well, now, guess what? We are doing 5 parts because Brad fucked up another outline. So, because today is ruthless aggression, and there is way too much meat on the bone to just kind of go through this and then go through to almost the women's revolution. There's just too much. We would have been rushing, or this episode would have been just way too long.
You didn't
So,
say
yes,
it right, Brad.
What's that?
Ruthless aggression. You didn't say it right.
What'd I say?
You're supposed to go ruthless aggression.
All right. I was wondering what you meant. So,
Yeah.
did anybody have a chance to watch the documentary on WWE, The Ruthless Aggression?
Yep.
I did.
So if you didn't have a chance at home, I thought this was very well done. And this is mainly the reason that that we all decided that this needed to be a 5-parter. So basically what happens is in 2001, Fit Finlay gets hired to make the women basically tougher and to teach them how to do moves better, teach them how to do better. But also it was new to him as well, which was great because I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was just something that he was thrown into. Many people are talking on this episode. You hear from Brian Gewirtz. Brian Gewirtz is the one that helps The Rock now. He's his writer. You've heard from Trish Stratus. You hear from Michelle McCool, Victoria, Michael Cole, Johnny Gargano, Kevin Owens, Melina, Natalia, Mickie James, Victoria. And they said they could see the changes in the women, so they told Fit Finlay to slow it down. And so he would slow it down for a week, and then he would say, you know what, we're getting right back to it. SummerSlam, in the summer of 2002, then Stephanie McMahon became the GM. So then they also had the authority addition to this as well. So she was behind the scenes and really pushing for the ladies. At the King of the Ring match, we're going to be covering a little later. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. You can see the changes just in the match alone compared to what we were watching in the Attitude Era. That was basically just a fashion show and a chance for the women to shake their asses. You could see the difference in Trish. You can see the difference in all of them. So, and in November of 2003, you have Lita and Victoria in a steel cage match, which was never done before either. In WrestleMania 20, we're going to talk about Molly Holly again. And Molly Holly, there was no women's championship on the show. So Molly Holly flat out says, what if I shave my head? So they put it on the show, and if she lost, she had to shave her head, which she did. And if all of you watch this, we talked about it in a previous episode, archives, check them out. It is extremely disturbing. This isn't something this isn't pretend. This was really happening. So, then in the same episode, or in the same WrestleMania, Trish cost Jericho a match. And yes, in that same episode, there was a Playboy evening gown match that nobody seems to remember. So they were giving a lot more respect to the women. Now, the Diva Search happened during the Ruthless Aggression era too. The Diva Search, so every week, one of them would get voted off, and they were all in bikinis, and it didn't make the women of this that were already there very happy because they felt like they were taking a step back. At least that's the way I interpret it. Maybe you guys can interpret it a little different, but that's the way I interpret it. So they had a dodgeball match where Michelle McCool completely kicked their ass as a diva. But out of the divas came a lot of great wrestlers. You know, you have Layla, Maurice, the Bella Twins, Maria Kanellis, and it goes on and on. And then as it goes on with this documentary, you find out, Mickie James, and so many of these ladies came back also for the Royal Rumble, that was the first Royal Rumble, and for the Women's Revolution. So it was a really good documentary. I kind of gave you a crash course there, stumbled over a few words, but just know that it was really, really great what this era did. And I didn't realize the importance of it and how it really did pay. I know this is an overused term, but it definitely paved the way. Now, real briefly, before we go to the match, James, I want to just talk about TNA at this time, because the Knockouts division in 07 was developed, and it was a battle royal. It was a gauntlet match with 10 women. I still don't think, from watching the match, TNA was quite there, but you did have a lot of great wrestlers in there. Awesome Kong being one, different, and as our friend Brandi says, not the feminine norm, and that's okay with us. We like that. And with Gail Kim also as the winner of that match to become the first TNA Knockouts champion, who all of us have respect for today. So that's what we'll be discussing today. It was a brief description of the ruthless aggression era and what was going on at the time. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that, Brad. That was a good little, summary. That is the Ruthless Aggression season 2, I believe, in episode 3 or so. You'll just see it. It's like Face
yes,
of the
thank
Revolution.
you. Season 2, episode 3. Mm-hmm.
Very well done. Narrated by Pat McAfee, who I'm a huge fan of. I name drop him a bunch. But yeah, very well done documentary, and I appreciate them showing like women breaking through that barrier. I have a niece, so it's cool to be like, hey, like these women did it. They didn't give up. They fought through the bullshit and did something. So cool to see. But that's enough about that. It's time to see why we feel so strongly about that. And the first match we're covering today is Molly Holly versus Trish Stratus. And it is a WWE Women's Championship match from King of the Ring 2002. Took place on June 23rd of said year, 2002, at the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. It was the 10th annual King of the Ring, 16th overall King of the Ring tournament, and it was the first one since the name change to WWE. Had an attendance of 14,198 people, a buy rate of a supposedly 320,000, match length with a little over 5 minutes, and for the people who justify things that Meltzer has to rate, he gave it a 1.75 stars. Yeah. But, that's just a rating that some dude came up with. But enough about that. Brad, take it away, buddy.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Mike, who I believe has a little bit of a build-up on this show.
Yeah, I got a little bit. I looked, couldn't find too much on this. This was just after Molly Holly turned heel. And she was back there doing a backstage segment, and Trish came up to her and was just talking a bunch of shit to her and started talking about her having a fat ass, is where this led up to. They end up having a match later on that night, and if Molly Holly won, she got a title match. If Trish won, then Molly Holly had to wrestle on a thong. Well, as we know now from the King of the Ring, Molly Holly won that match. And that's kind of where, pretty much what I got from everything on that one.
Thank you. Thank you.
I looked.
I appreciate the due diligence, my friend.
Was Molly Holly character, her persona, was she considered like a straight late version of virgin? Because that's the way it kind of sounded. Because I think that JR or somebody said she's going to lose her virginity. Was that something that was going on during that time? Was she supposed to be a straight laced person, or was that just, did I miss something?
I think she was just doing that whole, like, she wasn't like the beauty queen type deal.
Okay.
Going after the people for that is what she was going after.
Well, let's talk about that, Coach. And I was going to ask you, what did you think of her attire for this match?
It looked like she was getting ready to go to work, like in an office or something.
Right. That's the way I felt about it too. She definitely didn't look like she was in ring gear at all.
No.
That was very strange. And then Trish had the purple on, which was good, but also not as risky, I would say, as the stuff she wore in the past. What did you think about the gear in this Brandi?
Well, first of all, in this era, you still had that lack of storytelling. There wasn't a lot of great detailed sort of stories coming yet for the women. We'll see that later on in the year when we get into the feud between Trish and Victoria, where they allude to them having a past and Victoria thinking that Trish sabotaged her. And this was literally Trish making fun of Molly for wearing granny panties. And unfortunately, that's a lot of the tropes that WWE throws into their women's stories, is that they're making fun of people for what they choose to wear, whether it be the clothes that they wear or the underwear that they wear or the people that they hang out with. And honestly, I've been over it since 2002. I didn't have a problem with anything they were wearing. I enjoy whatever it is that woman wants to wear. I think what Molly wore was definitely a departure from what this audience had been used to seeing what women would wear, because she was completely covered. She had a top on that covered her cleavage. She had pants on that were not snug, that showed her legs, but didn't actually, are skin tight. Whereas Trish would wear something that was much more form fitting, but not as, say, teeny tiny as some of the Divas era attire would be. So I'm fine with whatever any girl wants to wear. I think part of the women's evolution and part of the revolution is women reclaiming their femininity and their sexuality and saying, no, this is not something you're going to push on me. This is something I'm going to have power over and I'm going to be in control over. So I am all for that.
Well, speaking of being a male chauvinist, James, do we have any lines from the King that you would like to share with us today?
Boy, howdy, do we ever. It's sad that a lot of it, because I was listening, it's just like they bring up we got let's see, JR says on a replay, we'll show you how Molly used her ample sized caboose.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of big butt talk. I guess you can tell that this didn't age well because girls got asses these days. You know what I'm saying? White girls, they bring it. They're stepping up to the game. So but back in this day, I guess it was looked on as a little different for white women to have big cabooses, because it's definitely referenced in this match more than it should be, in my opinion. That's pretty much all. There's a lot of really, really bad quotes in here that I have written down. If you want me to just talk about that for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to talk about the good and the bad of this era.
Yeah, true. Let's see. Molly was choking Trish with the panties, and King said that's a waste of good panties. JR said, what would you do with those? And then paused and was like, never mind. And I was like, oh, there we go. Thank God that made air, huh? As JR would say. Trish hits the bottom rope. JR says Trish is broke. King says, God, broke? What about the puppies? I mean, it's that type of, like juvenile stuff that's going around. Granted, I was a juvenile at this time, so, I'm guilty of it too, I guess. They're really not calling moves. They're pretty much just, potty talking, as some would say. JR talking about Molly. She can't help that she's posteriorly challenged. I mean, it's just this type of stuff the whole fucking match. And then, I'll save that quote for the end, but yeah, it's just not it's not good that it's just complete, like, fat butt talk, like, for the whole match.
For as much as that's going on, though, you can tell, and I know I said it very quickly in the when I was talking about the documentary, you can see the difference in Trish in this match. And we weren't seeing a lot of Molly in the Attitude Era. She fits definitely better into this era than the Attitude Era, for sure, because they weren't trying to change, even though we weren't maybe all the way there in 02 yet. But Adam, I wanted to ask you, as an in-ring performer, what did you think of the aggressiveness in this match? Molly's aggressiveness, and what did you think of their in-ring chemistry? You're
Muted.
Muted, buddy. Why is he doing this again?
Why did y'all mute me? That's not nice. Anyway, the first note I wrote down is actually, after I knock everything over, Molly, how she jump-started the match. and how they actually have really good chemistry together. You can tell that they have wrestled together a couple of times. And I know Trish is just kind of starting out here. I'm not sure how far into her wrestling she's gotten here, but I know Molly had just come from WCW not too long before this. So I know she's had more time in the ring. But as far as their chemistry is pretty good. I wish they could have got a couple more minutes, but overall good match. I mean, I'm a big fan of Molly Holly. I wish she was a wrestler now.
Devyn, why do you think hair pulling is illegal?
Well, it'd be a disadvantage to you, Brad.
Exactly.
I don't know why it's illegal, honestly. We kind of seen it more in these women's matches and around this era, so I don't know if you call it too illegal. But
I was always told on a football field that the hair is part of the uniform. I'm just not sure why it doesn't play out that way in a wrestling match, or I guess when they want to.
I'd say always is friendly on that term. That was
now obviously.
Change, but go ahead.
Devyn, do you remember watching when Molly Holly actually got her head shaved?
Oh yeah, at WrestleMania. She
now, you were a young kid. Did that disturb you at all? Did it bother you? Did you think that was scary?
No, I loved it. It's all part of the act, part of the show.
Okay. What did you think of the crowd reaction to Molly, James?
I felt it didn't really seem I mean, the crowd was there per se, but watching some of the background, it was definitely used as a toiletry break, I'll put it that way. I saw a lot of people standing up and like shuffling around. I mean, when people were there and reacting, obviously it's good, but it wasn't a consistent, you can definitely tell the crowd's gotten a lot more behind it as time has evolved for sure.
Coach, you saw the thong picture in the crowd, right?
Yes, I did.
What was your reaction to that?
My eyes went like this, boom. And because I don't think we'd see that today. I mean, they take some pretty harmless signs down nowadays. That definitely wouldn't fly. I mean, in AEW, half of their signs, I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. They're talking about video games and Pokemon and all these other stuff. They weren't talking about that, no, too.
So, Mike, you did the outline for this match, so you knew the build-up. I don't know if you remember this at the time of Molly winning. Do you think the right woman went over here?
Yeah, I think she deserved it, but because I think that was her first title win too, and she was a heel, so with her being a heel, the way she won it, with everything going on, how they were talking all the shit they were talking about her, she cheated to win and she got the win. Just kind of put it right back in their face.
Devyn, did you think it ended abruptly?
A little, but not too bad.
All right, so you think it did its due diligence?
Yeah, it was one of the better matches that we've covered over the past few weeks. It definitely had a better build to the finish.
It definitely is, and I think we got most of what we need out of this match. Molly does get the win. Trish with a roll up. Molly reverses it. She has the tights. The tights are breaking the rules, even though I think it's very minor. And Molly gets the win. The belt to me looks extremely small, but it was a great moment.
You can't skim over what JR said though. Pretty much right after the pin.
Good. I'm glad you're here.
I guess it's the first time you can say a women's champion is a virgin and proud of it.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. It's like a little bit after the pin.
So real quick, Brandi, this was Devyn gave me some notes on this, and I actually had it written down too. But I think you're the one that needs to answer this. A lot of women thank Molly for their career. They thank Molly Holly for she was an inspiration to them. You hear it all the time. Why do you think that is?
Molly represented something that was different. Molly came into wrestling with a very solid base. She started training in 97 under Dean Malenko. She didn't ever rely too heavily on her appearance, even though in WCW she was kind of just like arm candy, but she was still working with the guys and still training. Randy Savage is the one who put the call in for her with Vince to get her a job in WWE. And with Fitz added training, she was just very strong in the ring. Everything was very crisp. Her timing was good. Everything looked snug and believable, but not too tight or too stiff. And proved that you can just be a wrestler. You didn't have to be a model, and that you could be successful. And I think that's important because you need both aspects, because there are going to be girls that are growing up and watching this and either want to be a model and be on TV, be a manager, do that sort of thing, or they're going to want to get in the ring and do what Molly Holly did. You're going to see a recurring theme with a lot of the women from this era as they influence and start working through on the independent scene, the different types that are being emulated, like a Victoria, like a Molly Holly, like a Gail Kim, like a Jazz, that really influences a lot of the women that are on TV today. And I think that's a trend we're going to see continue. And as we talk about Shimmer a little bit later, we're going to talk about that influence overall on women's wrestling and the development and just the sheer amount of television stars that went through that promotion.
Thank you so much for bringing up Jazz. I meant to mention her because she is shown in the documentary as well, but not mentioned. They do show her probably about a dozen times, but she is not mentioned. So thank you very much for that, for bringing that up.
I don't know if the relationship between WWE and Jazz is a good one at this point in time. I'm not sure exactly how she left in 2004. She was part of the women's triple threat at WrestleMania 19 in Seattle. She was definitely a different woman. An African-American woman, aside from Jackie, really hadn't gotten any spotlight since Sapphire in the early 90s. So, and her style was always so good, so strike heavy. Jazz is another one that really has influenced a lot of women that are coming up now. She's a trainer in Louisiana, was NWA Women's World Champion for like 900 days before she had to vacate it for personal and medical reasons right before the relaunch of the NWA.
Yeah, Jazz is currently helping backstage at the NWA as well. Her and her husband, Rodney Mack.
Exactly. Back the Mac, baby. Mac attack.
I do like Rodney Mack. All right. Thank you very much for that. James, unless anybody has anything else they want to add on this match, I think we're good. We can kick it back to you.
Well, I think we broke down that match as thorough and as well thought as we should. Really appreciate everybody's feedback. But Brandi, you mentioned Shimmer. I think you can elaborate on some of the topics that you brought to the table for this. So hey, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you. Yes, as I get my 800 pages of notes here. So Shimmer was the first major all-women's promotion in the United States after Glow. And wow, it was launched in 2005 by Allison Danger, who is a wrestler and turned trainer, and she is also the sister of Steve Corino, as well as announcer Dave Prazak, who everyone remembers from WCW. So they host events that are taped for later distribution, and each show is referred by a volume number. They usually film at the Eagles Club out of Berwyn, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. This is like very much in the vein of that independent, like it's very reminiscent of PWG, the super indie out of California. But of course, because Super Dragon had a bad experience with Sarah Del Rey, he would not book any women except for Candice LeRae until maybe last year, I think is when he finally changed his mind. But that's a whole other topic. The number of women that have gone through Shimmer is insane. If I can just put my list back together here. Okay. Amber O'Neil, cheerleader Melissa, who was in Impact as Alyssa Flash, or the manager of Awesome Kong at the very beginning, Raisha Saeed.
Was she blue pants?
No, that was Aliva Bates.
Okay.
Your face.
Miss Chief, Lexi Fife, as I mentioned, one of the founders, Allison Danger, Mercedes Martinez, who is in WWE and is now in AEW and the current Ring of Honor Women's Champion, Sarah Del Rey, who is the main women's trainer in the Performance Center. Daisy Hayes, who is a pillar of Ring of Honor for women and was a trainer at their dojo before they changed ownership. Lacey and Rain, the Minnesota Home Wrecking Crew. Christy Vane, Beth Phoenix, she was on the very first volume of Shimmer, taking on Mercedes Martinez. Rebecca Knox, you might know her better as Becky Lynch. Malia Hosaka, Nikki Rocks, otherwise known as Roxy or Roxy Laveau. Chantel Taylor, who would go on to be Taylor Wilde. Serena Deeb, Portia Perez, Nicole Matthews, the Rate Tank, Kelly Skater, Maddie Neidhart, Daphne, rest in peace, Sarah Stock, also known as Sarita or Dark Angel, Jetta, Ashley Lane or Madison Rain, Nevaeh, Lufisto, Madison Eagles, Cherry Bomb, also known as Allie or the Bunny, Sassy Steffi, Allison Kay, Jessie McKay or Billy Kay, Tennille Dashwood, Ayoko Hamada, just endless amounts of talent that have gone through this one promotion and have gone on to greater success on television.
Yeah, a lot of Impact wrestlers that you named that are there now as well, that are in Impact.
Absolutely.
Impact now. And wow, that was great.
And of course, you would have other names, like there was some other international ones. Soraya, who is Paige's mother, Brittany Knight Paige. When she was just 16 and 17 years old, she's working these shows.
Well, how the hell old is Roxy? I mean, Roxy's 20 now.
She's like 2021 now.
Not Roxy. Nikki Rocks.
Oh, okay. I have the wrong person.
Roxy is a product of Reality of Wrestling. Booker T.
Okay.
And Brandi, you sent me a match that had Beth Phoenix in there.
Yes, that was from the first volume of Shimmer. It was Beth Phoenix versus Mercedes Martinez. And we had a conversation about how this was such a different presentation of Beth Phoenix than what we had seen in the WWE.
Correct.
I got a question, Brandi.
Yes.
Does Sarah Del Rey get her flowers as far as her being such a good trainer and being a good wrestler? Because you don't hear her name a lot. But I think she should be praised a whole lot more because she trains all them ladies in the Performance Center.
She does. And so there's a two-part answer to that. Yes and no. Yes, because she is the main trainer for all these women that are coming through the Performance Center and really polishing them and showing them kind of this generation's fit Finley, really teaching them the basics and showing them what needs to be done. On the other hand, Sarah Del Rey had a history of bad backstage politics where she would badmouth other women, hold them back. There was rumor and innuendo that that was the reason why Lufisto never really got a shot in North American independent scene outside of Canada. Sarah Del Rey is also the woman that Super Dragon had a bad experience with and never booked another woman again for like 13 years.
That's the stuff.
So yes and no. And so that kind of dovetails into another interesting kind of topical conversation is Sarah is married to Claudio Castagnoli, the former Cesaro, who just debuted in AEW and was tag team partners with Chris Hero as the Kings of Wrestling. And there's been a lot of talk about how Eddie Kingston and Claudio really don't like each other. And there's this history of maybe some sour grapes or backstage politics affecting people and their bookings. So it's interesting that those kind of all link up.
Well, Eddie Kingston flat out said on his Zoom with the top guys that he does not like that guy. I was there. So
he does not. That's real. And I will find it and retweet it again. But somebody actually went back through all of the old Chikara shows. They were one of the unfortunate casualties of the speaking out movement because their owner and promoter was outed as a toxic person and as a bully, and it was a toxic work environment. But they went back through the old footage to kind of bring together the story of Eddie and Cesaro.
Real quick, Brandi, just because you said it, a lot of people at home don't know what that is, that Chikara. Can you just briefly say what that is?
I'm sorry, you broke up there.
The Chikara wrestling? You didn't... Can you just explain what that is?
Yes. So Chikara was a promotion based out of Pennsylvania. It was way more family friendly. They marketed themselves as very family friendly. Cartoon, comic book style characters come to life with a heavier emphasis on athleticism. But the main emphasis was on the storytelling. And there were some great stories, and a lot of great wrestlers went through there. It's just unfortunate the way it ended for them.
I appreciate you going into depth about that. All right, we're going to switch gears for a minute here, James, okay?
Go for it. It's your show.
Yeah, sure it is. I need to talk to you guys about what have we all done to make our significant other, whoever we're dating, whoever we're trying to date in our life, happy. So let's talk about a situation with me. My wife and I are in Vegas, and we are at the time very, very big Walking Dead fans. Walking Dead, we're by the way, we're hanging in there, by the way. Hanging in there, even though it's already finished. We have about 8 left on the DVR that we got to finish, but it's been tough sledding if you catch my drift. But anyway, we were big fans at the time. This is probably 5 years ago or so. So I got us tickets to a zombie burlesque show in Vegas. We're in line at the Hard Rock Theater and waiting to get in, excited, having a good time in Vegas, just the two of us. Kids are home, just the two of us. We get in there. I would say there's probably 1,000 people that can fit in that theater. And we're looking at what's on stage. So there's zombies. Not the kind of zombies you see in Walking Dead. Basically, it's a woman's face painted white that's completely naked and wrapping around a pole. And this went on after about the 5th woman, zombie, whatever the case may be. My wife looks at me and says, "This is more for you than for me." I'm like, oh my gosh, I am fucked. She's sitting here next to me, pissed off to all hell. I was trying to do something nice. All right, so the perfect 10 whatever zombies are off the stage, and a 400 to 500 pound man dressed as a woman zombie gets on the stage. Her name, his name, no judgment, of course. Tiny Bubbles. Tiny Bubbles looks out to the crowd and says, "I need a volunteer." Now, there's 1,000 people at least in this crowd, at least. I said, this is my chance. I got to make this count. So I raise my hand. Everybody's raising their hand, but I raise my hand. He points at me. He goes, "You." I'm like, thank God. All right. I get on stage, and the womanish voice that he was portraying is no longer there to me. He goes, "Thanks for doing this for me. You're a good sport." I'm like, no problem at all. Grabbing my ass, turning me around, calling me a skinny little thing. Everybody in the crowd's laughing. I look at my wife. Now he's also drawing a picture of me. He's doing a caricature of me. I look out, I look at my wife. She's on a chair, filming it, smiling ear to ear, glowing. And I say, thank God. I pulled out of this. I have made her happy, and I don't care at what cost. So I kick it out to the crew. What have you done and swallowed your pride about to make the woman, the man in your life happy? I saw you raising your hand, Adam.
No, I just had a question about yours. Didn't you used to blow bubbles as a kid?
I did. By the way, if you can see on the screen here, if you're watching YouTube, this is the character that had me on the stage.
So,
And it says, "Tiny Bubbles drew my character and brought me to life. Zombie Burlesque, B Theaters, Planet Hollywood." Not Hard Rock, Planet Hollywood. Sorry about them. I get confused with those two sometimes.
so when you blew bubbles as a kid, was it more like tiny bubbles?
Yes.
Okay, so now it comes full circle. Gotcha.
Adam, I need to know what
Tiny bubbles
in the wine makes me feel happy. Come on, everyone.
Heard that. Makes me feel fine.
fine.
You know what else makes me feel fine? Coors or Natural Light. That is natural.
You can't even promote it right.
Nitro Pepsi. I just had to say it.
Got that here. I'm
So
too
anyway,
sick to drink Pepsi today.
Adam, come on. What have you done to impress a woman that you embarrassed yourself with? As you take a big swig of beer. I'll just keep talking till you're ready, okay?
Drink beer, you know that. I don't know. I don't really get embarrassed real easy. I have been to a how would you say it? Like a gay bar type deal down here in Birmingham with some friends back when I worked at Walmart. Most fun I ever had in my life.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wasn't to impress anybody, but it was just like coworkers. And that was probably the most fun I had. I mean, because you talking about just having a blast, not caring about anybody, what anybody thinks. I mean, we probably had a blast. So something that you probably wouldn't think I'd ever do. We went to, I was in my 20s too. I had a blast. And I'll tell anybody, that was probably one of the most fun times as far as going out from the house. That's probably one of the most fun times I ever had. So
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. By the way, I wasn't embarrassed either. I wasn't embarrassed either. Right? I was just trying to make someone happy.
It takes a lot to embarrass me. I just to be honest.
Coach, I'm looking at you, kid. You've been quiet tonight, and it needs to end. All right? So do me a favor and tell me a story that you did to get you out of trouble with your wife, impress your wife, that you normally wouldn't do.
Lee, 22 years of mistakes. I got a lot of ammunition. Well, number one, I've never had a new car. 22 years of marriage. Right now, I'm driving an 03 Lexus. And my wife's always had the best car, so that's probably number one. Number two, I've gone camping plenty of times, and I hate camping. I'm a hotel kind of guy. And I'm getting this remodel done. It's taken about 4 months, 5 months. So sometimes my words aren't the best, and sometimes the way I handle things aren't the best, but I got a pure heart, and I always want to make my wife happy and my kids happy. And now I'm starting to say, because you got me, this is a tough one to talk about. But I'd say probably about 50-50 out of the time I make her happy, and 50% of the time I piss her off. So I might not be the very best to come at this topic, but I have had my moments.
I hate camping too. I'd rather just sit in the air conditioning. Plus time for it. Yeah,
Mike's
whatever.
about to lose it.
I love camping. My God.
Sorry.
Thank you. There's bugs out there.
City boy.
There's animals out there. When you live where I do, I could get eaten by a bear.
You know what else?
Oh, thank you.
You're in a
So you
tent.
take your dog with you.
I don't have a dog. I
Have
a
your kids
cat.
out fish you the whole time, you know?
Yes.
Hi.
Man,
Listen,
where I go camping, we have no cell phone service. We have nothing. There's no
Bad.
camper. It's
Hey, I
a
want to go
tent,
camping with
a
Mike.
fire, a creek, and
How am I going to get my
That's
Twitter
it.
updates?
no, that week you're out there, it's screw Twitter. It's screw everything.
You
You come in town every couple of days, download your stuff from Patreon from Ad Free Shows, then you go back and
Oh, so
listen
you
to
have
every
plans.
show.
You still use your technology, son of a bitch. Oh, so I just download
wanna
everything
say
3 days ahead of
hi?
time. All right, and
Can I
everything's
say
fine.
hi to the guys?
Yeah.
There's Sapphire. Hey, Sapphire.
Hi, cat.
This
Hi,
is
Cat.
my baby,
Kitty,
this
kitty,
is
kitty, kitty.
Sapphire.
Where's Jerry Lawler when you need him? Here, kitty, kitty.
So
let
James,
you
do
go,
you have
'cause
any
now you're mad.
stories that you've done? to
God
impress me?
almighty. I
Oh,
was trying
this
to
will
think.
be
I know I've done some.
This'll be good.
I know I've done some outlandishly stupid shit to definitely impress women. I mean, I'm a sucker for it. Man.
You need to think about it and I go to someone else for a minute?
Well, I mean, they're all going to be just like stupid money wasting. I can't really name anything specific. I've definitely.
What have you done? What have you done? Like you going out of your way?
I mean,
to
I've
do
gone to like concerts and stuff, like, you know,
what kind of
little shit
concert?
like that.
It's on the block or what?
Well, I mean, the headliner of said concert was Eminem, so I was like, I won. You know, so like,
Yeah, that's
but
good.
the whole aspect of the whole day, like doing little shit, like she knew that Eminem was the headliner, so it was like a little festival thing. So of course I was, you know, oh my God, let's go do this. Oh my God. You know, like all that stuff, like the whole day. And I was like, yeah. Because I knew, you know, I'm seeing Eminem. And this was back right after that, like that Not Afraid and all that stuff, whatever album that was. It was like right then. So he was like back on the real popular swing. So I was cool with it. I mean, you know, just like I'm a sucker for that shit though. Like it may appear that I'm not having a good time, but after I get through the stubbornness of it, you know, then I'll end up like, you know, just being like, fuck it, I'm here. Like it's to make her happy, so I'll do it. But
You know that it's a good time after 3 beers anyway.
right. You know, then I was like, I'm having fun too. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's get
All right.
7 caricatures. Like, let's do this.
Devyn, are you ready to bore us to death with whatever bullshit? For
Oh yeah. I'm doing it. I just love Erica so much.
All right.
Every day of my life is just the most wonderful day ever.
Right, just keep getting better every day, every day.
So we all know that having a woman in your life is about making sacrifices daily. Everyone has to make those little sacrifices to make the woman in your life happy.
Hourly.
Hourly, minutely, you know, literally daily.
Minutely for me, you know what I'm saying?
Happy wife, happy life. So yeah, I'm always making sacrifices in my life to make Erica happy. I think the dumbest thing I've done to make her happy though is give myself COVID. This shit sucks.
What is that?
Well, she constantly was needed help all week in the bedroom, needing stuff, needing waters filled, needing everything, and I got COVID because of it. So
help in the bedroom and got COVID.
Not that. That's
Thank
been
you.
since before
I'm
the
sure you
Great
wore
Story.
2 masks in the bedroom and then prevented everything, right?
No.
See, Brad, when you're a
I
Southern
was-
gentleman like myself, you don't have to do stuff to impress women. All you gotta do is just show up, and they're impressed right then.
All right.
Good point.
Mike, do you have anything special for your lady that you want to have a mortgage with and kids with?
Mortgage?
Mortgage. Yeah. No, I mean nothing really embarrassing. Let's see, like I mean, when the kids came, I just did everything I had to do so she can be a stay-at-home mom, and you know, she didn't have to worry about babysitters. She was always worried about stuff like that. So I'd
That's
work
the dream.
60, 70 hours a week just so she can stay at home and yeah, easy.
I'm in the
You
same
do that.
boat.
You're home all the time. You're always available for podcasts.
Hashtag humble brag.
It's my time
You
schedule.
get up at 3 a.m.? What time are you at work?
Some,
You're home at 4.
right now it's 7 o'clock. I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about when the kids were first born.
I'm just making sure.
Just
because
before
I'm
I
not
became
sure
top
where
guy.
the time
Yeah.
is.
No, I'm talking about before that. I'm talking about when the kids were babies.
Oh, okay.
So I just did what I had to do, and then even now, you know, like some of you guys know, you know, she had her issues a couple months back, which actually I'll give her credit. I'll give her a pop. Monday will be 6 months clean, sober,
Oh yeah.
off everything.
What's up?
So she goes to her classes 4 or 5 days a week. I go to work every day, come home, I'll do dinner. She goes to work too. But I'll come home, I'll do dinner, take care of the kids, and do what I have to do while she's at her class for those 2 hours.
That's great, Mike. That's great news. Brandi, usually it's ladies first, but I apparently do everything ass backwards. What have you done for
That's why you stay in trouble.
What have you done for a significant other?
I haven't really. I mean, I only had one significant other in my life. We were together for almost 6 years. We're also long distance, so I never really had to do anything because they're both wrestling fans. If anything, he had to make more sacrifices to do what I wanted to do.
Hey now.
You know
Fair
what's
enough.
funny? I remember you writing something not that long ago. I don't know how long ago it was that you had a date or something, and he said something stupid about wrestling, and you were done right then.
Oh my God,
What
yes.
was that?
So I met this person on a dating app. This is before I was with my boyfriend because I tried the dating app thing for a couple months before he was a friend of mine at the time, and we just decided to give it a try. But he was like, yeah, I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid. I was like, oh, cool. So you want to come over? We can watch some old wrestling from that time. You know, that'd be fun. And literally every other move. Oh, that looks fake. That looks fake.
Oh,
Oh, that was kind of cool.
Oh.
Oh, that looks fake. Like, seriously, you're sitting here killing my buzz, dude. And then
Yeah.
he also wouldn't take no for an answer. Like, we had been maybe talking for like 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days, had like 2 dates, and he wanted to come over and sleep in my bed. Like, no.
That's a
And
nice
he
try.
wouldn't take no for an
Let him get
answer.
his fake ass out of the house. If he gonna I hate that
I knew
word.
that was coming from Adam. He loves
Oh,
this.
I hate that word.
Exactly. So yeah,
Well-
he did not last very long.
Thank you for that, Brandi. I appreciate everybody participating in their embarrassing moments, but it seemed like everybody was just doing a lot for their significant other, which is wonderful as well.
I did.
James,
I moved a woman into my mom's house. I guess I slept on that one.
yeah, that's what?
That would probably be But hey, we're not going to talk about that because
Hey,
you
Mom. So this is whatever.
Did you live there too, or did you live by
yeah,
yourself?
correct. Yeah.
I got a good one.
Yeah.
I broke the bathroom sink for one.
All right, and
So,
moving on.
We know this one.
Unless you got a band camp kind of story, we're moving on.
I think it's match 2 time. What do you
Yeah,
say?
Well,
Melina was proud of
actually,
it.
I do have one more story. I did embarrass this person
Oh Lord.
who was my boyfriend for almost 6 years, because we had a Zoom with Tony Schiavone, and Cody Rhodes crashed our Zoom. And I asked for relationship advice because I had just broken up with this person. And when the clip went viral on Twitter, he was not happy with how he was portrayed.
Now, do you see what just happened here? We're talking about we're supposed to be doing good for the other one, and you just turned it around. You just turned it around and talking about how you embarrassed him. But you know what? That's how these things go sometimes, isn't it?
I was on that Zoom. Brandi lit up like a
He
Christmas
was. He
tree.
tried to talk to Cody, and it was my turn, damn it.
That is true. I remember that. Oh, love.
Anyway.
Love is a battlefield, as they say. And there's also a battlefield going on outside of my apartment that hopefully you can hear the windows rattle every now and again. But enough about all that. It's time to get into match number 2, which is Beth Phoenix versus Melina in an I Quit match from One Night Stand 2008. Took place June 1st of said year of 2008 from the San Diego Sports Arena in San Diego, California, which I believe that building may be renamed or not exist anymore. I'm not sure. But it was the 4th annual and final of the One Night Stand pay-per-views. The attendance was 9,961, a buy rate of supposedly 194,000. Match length was a little over 9 minutes, and for those keeping score, Mr. Meltzer gave this one 2.25 stars. But that's enough of that little build-up. I believe
it's called the Pachango Casino Arena now.
Ah.
And a little known fact, I'll bring a little basketball in. The LA Clippers were originally the San Diego Clippers, and they played and opened the San Diego Sports Arena.
Ooh.
Great.
Nice. I like that.
So, who was doing the opening for the show?
I believe it says.
Adam, that's right. You were all excited about Beth Phoenix. That's right.
Just because I'd love to see her like in today's wrestling, because she'd probably beat everybody. But because she's probably like, yeah. Anyway,
she should have taken Bob Holly's idea. How about you give me the belt, not beat everybody?
she could have done it too. So the build up to this one wasn't a whole lot to it. It only went back as far as maybe the pay-per-view beforehand. I mean, because they were actually tag team partners before Judgment Day, which was before One Night Stand. So basically, like I said, it started around Judgment Day. They were in a triple threat match with Mickie James. It was Melina, Beth Phoenix, Mickie James, triple threat. Mickie James was the champion. And I think Mickie won with a DDT to retain her women's championship. I'm not sure who it was that actually initiated the I Quit match, but since this was a ECW One Night Stand, what was it like? It wasn't Elimination Chamber. It was No Holds Barred or something. I can't remember the exact name of the pay-per-view.
One Night Stand, Extreme Rules.
One Night
Extreme
Stand.
Rules. That's it. Extreme Rules. That's right. But like I said, they were a tag team, but we know how much WWE just loves breaking up tag teams. We know how much they love it. So other than that, they just had an I Quit match, and this is actually the first one they ever had. So not much of a build-up, honestly.
That's fine. It's fine. It's more than what I expected. But I will say this. It was. What did you think of her outfit, Coach? What did you think of what Beth Phoenix was wearing?
Oh, to me, Beth Phoenix wasn't even in the match. Melina, all the way live. I mean, I was focused on Melina. I thought she was a tremendous wrestler. I never really got into Beth Phoenix because I didn't like her facial reaction. She always looked angry. I know that's kind of petty, but she just never seemed happy in the ring. She never, I mean, I just never got into her that well, but Melina, she was good. And there was a lot of rest holds in this match. I know that that's kind of a taboo word nowadays, but it wasn't as good as the first match because they kept trying, tap out move after tap out move after tap out move. So the match moved a little bit slower than the first one. But overall, I mean, the way they put out Melina, she fought till the very end. That looked like a very painful hold at the end. And she did tap, but Melina had a great career. Good friends with John Morrison, good friends with Mike Knox, and had a great career.
Still working with the NWA.
Didn't she just have a fight recently?
A couple months ago, she faced Camille for the NWA women's title, and she lost. Camille's in just over a year champion now.
I think Camille is in no danger of losing that championship.
No, she's a brick house.
Yeah.
Not until she faces Jade Cargill.
She's hard ass. Well, if they're in the same organization, I guess. But
Forbidden Door Part 2.
Correct. We all enjoyed the pay-per-view. So go ahead, James. Say shout out. But
shout out to I don't know who.
Moxley won the
Tony
title.
Khan and the NJPW guy. Shout out to that.
So before this match, they did show a previous match that took place at Judgment Day. Now, I just find that
faction?
Funny. Exactly. And who is in it? Edge, who's married to Beth Phoenix.
Beth Phoenix.
So I think that the whole thing came from just right here. Devyn, you're a pig just like me. What'd you think of Melina's entrance?
I honestly, I was thinking about this. When I was younger, I did not understand it at all. But now that I'm fully grown, I completely understand the appeal. I was like, I know half the girls in my school when I was younger could do the split. I don't get why it's so cool that she can, but I totally understand it now.
And I don't know if you saw in the entrance, they did that whole paparazzi thing. The photographer fell on his ass.
Yep.
And Melina starts laughing at him and tries to help him up.
JR says, we can get him some medical attention. It's okay.
Yeah.
Then they show the replay of that, which I thought was like a little much, We're focusing on a women's match. And it's like, hey, here's a comedy spot, play Benny Hill in the background while we show this replay.
Benny Hill.
Yeah.
He laughed at him and then tried to help him up afterwards.
Devyn, do you know who Benny Hill is?
No idea.
You've never heard of Benny Hill.
It's Hank Hill's cousin.
Yeah, Hank Hill's
The English one. The English one.
I was like that,
Honestly,
Hank Hill's uncle.
Dave, you shouldn't know who Benny Hill is either, Dave.
Oh, I've seen a lot of ridiculous ass stuff about,
Coach and I weren't even too young for Benny Hill, really.
Yeah. You ever heard of Monty Python, Devyn?
Yeah, we had to watch that in like 10th grade English
We
class.
had to watch it.
Which
For
one?
what? Educational purposes?
Which
I
one
don't
did you
know.
have
It was
to
some
watch?
comedian one. They were all like, Knight got all his limbs chopped off. I remember that
Oh,
spot.
okay,
Holy
yeah.
Grail.
Holy
I don't
Grail.
know.
That's a flesh wound.
You got to watch that in English? How badass.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had to watch Macbeth.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Hey, Macbeth, the Scottish play.
Yeah, and we do
Wait,
like
we
we
did
do
it
like
good.
Scottish, as you know from
Mike
our
sure does.
Did y'all do The Outsiders? We had to do The Outsiders.
I did The Outsiders. That was a different English class. That same English class, we had to cover The Wall, Pink Floyd's album. That was
What
really
the
cool.
fuck?
kind of
I want to
school
go
are
back to
you
school.
In one English class, we did the hero's journey and we got to watch Star Wars.
Jesus.
That's cool.
Bullshit, dude. This is all bullshit right now.
We did To
Right.
Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, I did a
You did
Kill a
that.
I watched-
Mockingbird. And
Yeah,
my
Kill a
Atticus
kids
Finch.
Mockingbird
read
is a
Kill a
great
Mockingbird.
film.
Atticus Finch.
Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch is top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. Black and white, good stuff.
We didn't get to watch the movie.
You know what, Brad? It is black and white. You're absolutely correct on that.
I did see it.
Another black and white one we watched in English class was The Grapes of Wrath with James Dean.
Oh yeah.
Another great black and white movie, Clerks. If any of you
Clerks 3 trailer should be debuting about the time this airs. Hopefully it has debuted. But enough
Now,
about
let's
all
get
that.
back to this match, for the love of God. Adam, I wanted to ask you about the beginning of this match where Melina has Phoenix in the guillotine.
Guillotine, yeah.
Yeah. Now, there's two things that happen here. She gets her in that pretty good hold there, and Beth Phoenix is really selling the shit out of it. What did you think of that?
Oh, Beth Phoenix does the awesome in this as far as getting in a couple of holds, because there's actually not a rope break in a no DQ match. It was great to see that. So there was one where Melina puts her in she ties her legs up and pulls her head back, and Beth Phoenix actually drags her halfway across the ring and drops her out of the ring to break the hold. Just some of the stuff Beth Phoenix does as far as strength wise is amazing. I think you were going to talk about what we saw before this, how she picked up two of the women at the same time and was holding them in that backbreaker she does.
So the
just
glam
anything-
slam?
Yeah, I think so. No, she was
Because
just
I remember she did the glam slam with two.
Well, she was just holding them up this time like a backbreaker. But her starting the match off with the guillotine was good. It was just good to see them doing submissions for an I Quit match, other than trying to hit them with pans and hold them down with like ropes or handcuffs or something like that. It was actually a good match.
There's a lot of submission moves in this match also. And James, I wanted to know, what did you think of the crowd reaction? Did you think that they were bored or engaged?
I thought they were. Well, I do want to mention when they do that backbreaker thing, and then she holds her. It's like pretty much at the beginning of the match, and who is it? Beth is holding her like over her knee. I liked how JR and the King just dipped out of commentary for like 45 straight seconds. You can just hear Beth like, say I quit, and there's literally no commentary for a good like 45 straight seconds, which I thought was pretty interesting to do. I liked it, obviously, but you don't really see that much anymore. They'd be just narrating over that. But I didn't. The crowd's not. They're coming around. I'll say that much. Like how I mentioned in the last match, it's kind of like the bathroom break type style. On this one, since women's matches are kind of taken more seriously, like the crowds are kind of coming around, and there's a little more storyline now. So they're getting into it more. I would say it's not to the level that it should be, or obviously turns into, but you can definitely tell, like, okay, like this can actually sell tickets too. It's not just a bathroom break.
Agreed. Mike, I wanted to ask you now. To me, I want to hear what you say. I'm not going to tell you what I think, but did the ring seem louder? Did you hear more of what was going on inside the ring than normal?
No, not really. But I wasn't really paying attention to ring noise.
You didn't think it was mic'd up? Devyn, did you think it was mic'd up?
Yeah, just some of their bigger power moves, you could hear like an echo in or something. But you can hear that when you're in the actual arena as well.
That way you
But I
can
think
hear
it's
them say
kind of
I
that-
quit too during a submission hold.
So
Yeah, but you didn't hear her say I quit.
But
Well,
Brandi,
usually they would take the microphone and just stick it in their face and say, "What do you say?" But here they didn't do that. They just had the extra microphones around the ring, and you can hear the referee saying, "What do you say? What do you say?" And they'd say, "No, no." And
Right.
I'm watching it right now until she does this move here, like a surfboard, and just yanks the. Oh God.
was that specific to an I Quit match, or was that something that was added to the attitude or the ruthless aggression era to give it more of an angry or maybe a louder flavor. Brandi, what do you think?
I think it was to add extra because I do notice that throughout this era, now, sidebar, and this might fishtail another conversation, but I was kind of out of wrestling post this because I graduated high school and I moved in with a religious cult for about 6-7 months. But when I came back to wrestling in like 2009, you could definitely tell that they were using a lot of noise to enhance the sound of the ring. And of course, you could always hear John Cena clear as a bell with his calls in the ring because it was so mic'd up.
You couldn't see him, but you could hear him.
You couldn't see him, but you could hear him.
So when you
I
said,
particularly don't enjoy that they used this stipulation for this match because there was no reason to have it be an I Quit match. You didn't build a story that made an I Quit match necessary. When you have an I Quit match, it should be because you guys hate each other to the point that you aren't going to stop until you physically pass out or have to say, I quit. So if they had actually put some work into the story, this could have worked. But otherwise, just make it a submission match and then she can just tap out and you don't have to worry about saying, I quit.
Coach, do you think it's contradictory that we're having a Ruthless Aggression I Quit match and JR and the King are calling them divas?
Yeah, I thought about that, and then I thought about what you guys were talking about, the applause from the crowd. I think in that first match in 2002, it was a dead silence when the title switched hands because they weren't used to that style of wrestling. They were used to the puppies. They were used to all that kind of stuff. And now we're looking at 6 years later, they've really conditioned the fans. And I think that was a slip up. You know, you got two guys that might have been chauvinistic, might have come from a different generation, and they just took a step back. But I think you can tell the progress that the women have made in this 6-year time period.
Yeah, the commentary focuses a lot on the moves and not a lot of the bullshit juvenile stuff that we covered last match.
There's no doubt Beth is beautiful, but is she a different kind of beautiful? Mike?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, she's definitely a different type of beautiful, but I mean, I wasn't attracted to her, but I was like Coach, you know, her facial thing. So I never really got into her. You know, it was I feel like I feel the same way about like Bobby Lashley now, like just the way he expresses his face and stuff like that. And if I can't get into it, then I'm not paying too much attention.
Beth Phoenix dominates the end of this match to the point where it actually looked like it hurt. Now, was this too much for Ruthless Aggression, or is this exactly what it was looking for, Devyn?
This is exactly what they're talking about. What Vince McMahon wanted. You know, Beth Phoenix is kind of that perfect wrestler. I think she's very aggressive in the ring, and she's able to take it like past certain stunts that other divas in the past couldn't have. I really think Beth Phoenix was made for this Ruthless Aggression era.
Where's she from, by the way?
Canada.
Come on, Devyn. Beth Phoenix is from...
Oh, she's from Buffalo, New York.
Hey, you're the one that wrote this shit, dude. I'm looking at your freaking piece of shit paper here.
Yeah, you're right.
And who else is from Buffalo?
Our buddy RJ. Well,
Yeah,
he's from
Rochester.
but-
He's from Rochester.
Well, he likes Buffalo, and they suck.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty good right now.
Antonio.
Absolutely.
I hope
What
Beth
about
Phoenix
Melina's
beats him up.
facial expressions?
Yeah.
Melina, she had good facial expressions in this,
Definitely.
The best.
So
especially that last move.
I've already given it away that she wins. I want to talk about what happened right after the match. And I don't know if you guys kept the TV on or not. We have John Cena in the back. And John Cena says,
With Mickie James.
with me, well,
Yeah.
not yet at first, but he says it twice, so I have to bring it up. Girl on girl submission. I'm good. And then Mickie comes in and starts talking about the rear naked choke with him. So I guess the point that we're making here is that even though we were in the Ruthless Aggression era, they quite weren't all, even though this is 08, there was still a lot of that left from the Attitude Era that was still going on. But
Left the funny part out, though.
It was, well, all right, go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
The guy comes in out of the bathroom and
Yeah.
they're choking to death because he just blew it up.
Yeah, that was
True.
gross. Talk about like contradicting the whole thing. Like here you have this guy shitting himself, and then you have them talking about having like a sexcapade.
And then he invited them out.
I mean, some people are into that, right?
Some are, I guess.
We have some questions from this match, and I know none of you have it out, right?
Correct.
Have what out?
I think Brandi does.
Adam.
Question?
So quickly, I'm going to say Beth versus Melina. To the point there had not been many women's I quit. This is from Brian Haremza, by the way. Big fan
Shout out.
of us. But he said Beth versus Melina. To this point, there had not been many women's I quit matches. Were you surprised to see women getting this match stipulation at this time in WWE? Anyone?
Well, it's like Brandi said, an I quit stipulation is something you do after they done had 2 or 3 matches. You know, maybe a regular match, maybe a false count anywhere match, maybe submissions, no DQ match. An I quit match is something you do when nothing else has worked. So
You got to
Okay,
remember
then.
this was at ECW One Night Stand 08, so it fit the gimmick of the show.
but they just didn't give them time to build it up because they were
That
just
is-
tag partners 2 months before this.
I understand what you're saying, Adam, but Coach makes a good point. This is an ECW, even though it wasn't the real ECW. This is an ECW pay-per-view.
2.0.
where it used to be Extreme. And at the same time, it is ruthless aggression. But like you said, does it have to be? Probably not.
I think it was just
And-
one of those, you know how Vince McMahon likes to do the first time. We want to do it for the first time ever. He's real big into that. So I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, like last week, the first time evening gown match. Brandi, did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to note that by this point in time, Shimmer had already had several I Quit matches. They had had several 2 out of 3 Falls matches where they had rivalries that were built up to the point where they needed an I Quit match.
Okay.
Are
Fair
you
enough.
telling me there's other wrestling besides WWE?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, WWE weren't even the first ones to do an all women's pay-per-view. Impact Wrestling did it first back in 2014, or was it 2013? 2013. And they did it for 4 years. It was called the Knockout Knockdown.
You know what's funny is you're saying that, and we're calling this ruthless aggression because WWE named it ruthless aggression. But I tried to talk about the TNA a little bit too, because there is a lot of, you're on here to talk about also the Shimmer and Pro Wrestling Eve, Japanese wrestling, or Ring of Honor.
Oh, wow.
They did not call it ruthless aggression, even though that was what the era is. WWE named the era. Now, as far as the Attitude Era, I think Eric Bischoff kind of takes some credit for the Attitude Era as well. But when it comes to ruthless aggression, that's a WWE creation. Don't you agree, Brandi? Okay, well, that's good. Anybody else have anything on this match before we move forward?
Nope.
I think we're good. I will say that that ending submission looked very, very painful, like a almost contortionist style back bending.
Yeah. I like
Brutal.
how the arms didn't work. So she sat her down, grabbed her neck, and then you yanked back even further.
Yeah.
That was pretty neat.
You know what it kind of reminded me of was when someone has a submission and then they go down to the ground with it, to the point where like it's going to end. So very good match. I do like Beth Phoenix too, and I like Melina. They both did a great job. Guess what time it is?
Uh-oh.
Not F
M K, and we have a female with us, and Dad at home. We talked to Brandi ahead of time about the cursing, about the FMKs. She's good. Not trying to disrespect the lady here.
Glad
Now,
you
here's
gave
my
that warning about like an hour and a half into this.
I know, but now that we're here, I don't know. I feel like this is next level. However, Brandi, we have a problem. The problem is you don't know this movie, okay? And I texted you, and Devyn texted you because I didn't want to tell you without telling you. So this is Ruthless Aggression Era, and a movie that was out during the Ruthless Aggression Era was The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Now, I'm going to give you a break on this, and I'm going to let you do some Googling, but I'm going to give you a break on this, and we're gonna talk about it, and you're gonna Google, and you're gonna know all the actors at the very least. But I really want you to FMK the characters, because that's what this is all about. It's the characters, not the actors. So, guys, all right, FMK, fuck, marry, kill. The 40-year-old virgin characters. Now, I'm not going to make this easy. You know I'm not going to make it easy. And I have some crossing out and some writing in. So this is what we're going to go with.
I'd
Nikki.
marry Jane Lynch. Oh, sorry.
She ain't on there. And guess what? I had her daughter on there too. But then I started thinking, you know what? It's probably not a good idea. Even though she was 19 at the time, she was playing a character of 16 years old. So if we're actually going with the character, that makes this a little illegal. So we're going to go ahead and cut that shit right out.
Cut it out.
Mary kill. We're going to go with Nikki. Now, Nikki is a drunk woman who Andy gets a ride home with. She is drunk. So she has him blow into the breathalyzer because he hasn't been drinking. And he blows it clean. On the way home, she's bitching and moaning. She says French toast, and she blows chunks all over him. She gives him a kiss. She said, that tasted good. And he goes, that tasted like shellfish. However, this is played by the actress Leslie Mann, but you can't take that into consideration. Oh, can you? Next, we have Beth. Beth is the girl at the bookstore that when she comes and sees him, he just repeats everything she says. So what are you doing? So what are you doing? And back and forth, back and forth. And at the end, she is in the bathtub and is satisfying herself with whatever that thing is in the tub.
Showerhead.
All right. Well, you know, Adam, because you do it every night.
I'm not telling you anything else, Brad.
Yeah, because yeah, exactly. And that actress is Elizabeth Banks. But that doesn't matter either. Okay.
Ventures in babysitting.
Very good. So finally, we have when they were all speed dating. So they all went into this big, I don't even know where they were. It was a big room, and they would have 3-minute dates with everybody or 30-second dates. I don't remember exactly what it was. But at one point, the speed dating girl had her boob out. And that speed dating girl, who does not have a name in the movie, is actually Kimberly Page, Nitro Girl Kimberly Page. I didn't want to put her on there because, it's a wrestling podcast, right? But I couldn't put the 16-year-old on either. And I didn't want to put Grandma on because you'd all kill Grandma. And I know you guys would kill Grandma. So,
that's Jane Lynch in that movie?
What?
Jane Lynch in that movie?
Compared to these three?
Oh, I'm just saying, but the character, you're talking about character. She was bowdy.
You're talking about the woman that was the manager.
Yeah, the manager lady. Yeah.
Everybody?
Yeah, she was DTF.
She was bowdy.
I still think you guys were all killing her, and I think it would have been easy.
So, the easiest fuck of all time. She wanted to.
So, Devyn, we always have to start with the young buck. The apple in my eye. What do you got?
I think this is actually kind of not going to be too hard. Nikki, she's
That's what she said, James, huh?
Right?
Nikki's the wild one. Clearly, she liked to party and she liked to blow chunks. Let's just give her a couple drinks.
Don't talk about me like that.
We'll have a good night. So Nikki's the one I'm fucking. I can't marry. I gotta kill Beth because she was super annoying. Honestly, just repeating everything he said. And then yeah, that means that I'm marrying Kimberly Page.
What the fuck is that bullshit? She said 8 words in the damn thing and had her boob out.
It's Kimberly Page.
Yeah, see, that's what it's supposed to be, Kimberly Page. It's supposed to be insecure woman at freaking dating area.
I'm a mark. I'm gonna look at her and I'm gonna go, oh, hey, that's Kimberly Page.
Oh boy.
Coach hasn't blinked in a while. Coach, what do you got?
Well, the girl I'm going to pleasure for one night is the drunk because she won't remember and she won't tell my wife. So that's number one.
Strategy. That's smart strategy.
Thank you. Number 2, I'm going to marry the bookstore girl because if she's willing to pleasure herself in the bathtub, she's willing to pleasure me in a lot of different ways. And I want that for a long time. And Kimberly Page, I don't like insecure women. Brandi's not insecure. She's very confident in herself. She's a strong female. And I don't want someone that's insecure. I want someone that's strong, that's going to stand up for what they believe in and who they are. So unfortunately, I got to let you go via the death route. I wish I could leave you at a bus stop, but you got to go.
Hey, rules are rules. Rules are rules.
Yeah,
Is anybody else picturing Coach in the shower head together now?
Well,
now
that's actually the bidet. Because if you get into Good Morning and you get that bidet going for a good 1 or 2 minutes, you're good the rest of the day.
You've been hanging out with Conrad way too much.
Now, Mike, I'm going to go to you, but I want you to do us a favor. Make sure you look in the air and think this through. Go ahead, Mike.
Like this. Okay. Well, actually, I got this figured out. I'm gonna kill the Kimberly Page character. Just because it's, yeah, I don't know why. I'm just gonna kill her. The drunk, I'm just gonna fuck her and be done with her, because if she has a breath detector thing on her car, that bitch got fines. I ain't paying no fines. And then I'll marry the book lady, because she works in a bookstore, so she might be kind of smart. She has a job. She's good.
But also the girl that's an alcoholic, if she's good at blowing into that straw, she might be good at blowing other things.
We didn't see her blow anything.
And she's out partying like that. She's doing more than one. So.
Boom. There you go.
Hit
High
it,
traffic
hit
area.
it.
Brandi, have you had enough time?
I think so.
Go ahead.
I would fuck Kimberly Page because why not? And if you just are having sex with someone, you don't have to worry about their insecurities because it's one and done. I would marry the bookstore lady because not only is she intuitive and ingenuitive in using what is around you when you need it, she also runs a bookstore. So I will always be happy with a bookstore. And I'm going to kill the drunk lady because if you have a breathalyzer thing in your car, I don't want you being able to do that to somebody else.
Well done. Thank you so much for that. Adam?
I agree with Brandi. You kill the drunk lady because I don't drink. I'm not big into drinkers. I'd F Kimberly Page because even though she's insecure, I would help her get secure because that's the kind of guy I am. I'd help her feel secure. And then I would marry the other lady, the crazy one.
Her name is Beth. Okay, can we
Beth, yeah.
respect her?
Elizabeth Banks.
Yes, for sure.
Nice.
I'd marry her because it's Elizabeth Banks.
All right. But that's not the good reason because it's supposed to be in character.
Okay, we're doing character.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
No, okay, I got you. Since she's a character, she's not bashful. She's spontaneous. She's fun. Down for whatever, wherever. Let's get it.
Nice.
James?
All righty. Well, after a lot of deliberation, I have I'm obviously fucking the drunk girl with the breathalyzer because I'm not saying I know what it's like to blow in a breathalyzer every day, but a guy that's had 2 DUIs kind of does have a lot of experience with that thing, and it's a pain in the fucking ass. So we can't have both of us having those on our vehicles because then none of us can drive anywhere. You know, we got jobs and stuff, so definitely, you know, can't be with her. So that is a one and done sail and bail opportunity for sure, especially after a night out. I would say I gotta kill the speed dating one, and I know that is I'm separating human from character here, but that would have to be the one that has to get the chopping block. And I'm going with the bookstore girl because a guy like me, probably needs a woman that goes to libraries all the time and tries to intellectually better themselves, even though a little crazy on the other side, and a freak of the sheets type of thing. But I don't know what the bad side is on this, so I guess that's going to be my my FMK on that.
All right, so we're gonna go with what I say now. I am definitely killing the drunk girl, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not into shellfish at all. Just that whole throwing up all over you and you smell like shellfish, I'm out. And I agree with what Andy did there. He just said, you know what, I'm good. I'm a virgin. Oh, well, mine's probably growing back, but he's a virgin. And
She threw up all over him and says, "I'll still sleep with you if you want to."
yeah, and he didn't do it, and I'm not doing it either. So death.
Don't
Now-
knock it till you try it.
Exactly. Live a little, man. It's called
I'm
prom.
probably sure I did
What are
try
y'all
it
talking
for my
about here?
life. All right, I probably did try it. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just fuck Kimberly Page, whatever character that was, because exactly, I agree with the way Brandi said on that. That who cares if she's insecure or not? We're just gonna have a good time for a night and we'll move on. She's there at that dating app. She has no bra on. She's up to no good. And finally, I am gonna marry the Beth Elizabeth Banks character because I think even though she may have been trouble in her life and had a good time and maybe been around a little bit, I think she will be true to you. I think she'll do anything you want. I think she will get a little freaky with you. I'm in. I'm in with Beth. Amen. And I would have got in that tub with her too. I mean, he left. I'm in. He went to grandma. I'm going. I'm in that tub. Seth Rogen.
Yeah, this guy took over.
I'm in. What a
So
great
none of us said it correctly. We should have said it. Me and Kimberly Page are gonna bang.
How long have you been wanting to say
so
that?
proud of you right now.
I'd walk
been
out of
waiting
there and
ever
be like,
since you told
self
him.
high five.
Devyn's been hanging on to that for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, boy.
That happened.
Wait.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the gentleman, shall we?
Oh, shit.
Hey, look, let's start. Let me throw a
always
wrench
do
in.
And
this.
none of you are getting Andy. All right, no virgin for any of you, okay? Because I already know the answer.
So wait a
All right,
minute.
Out.
Take
Andy
Kimberly
out.
Page. Take Kimberly Page out and put that chick Gina or Gina. Put her in there instead of Kimberly Page.
I'm killing her. I'm gonna go ahead and bang. What's her name now?
It's Gina. No,
Jane
Gina.
Lynch.
I just got.
Dinah. What's up? I love that line. So the gentleman, we have David, who is played by Paul Rudd in the movie. Now David is hung up on his ex-girlfriend, girl from The Office, and is kind of he's through the whole thing. He's really hung up on her. Nice guy though. We have Cal, played by Seth Rogen, who at one point in the movie at the very beginning says, sometimes it's just a woman fucking a horse. And then we have Jay, who's played by Romani Malco, who he's kind of a player. He's with a woman. He's having a baby. African-American gentleman, handsome as hell. Still looks the same today, by the way. Anyway.
You didn't say that about Paul Rudd. That motherfucker
I don't
hasn't
think he looks
aged
the
in like
same today.
35
Ant-Man
years.
doesn't look the same today. You think Ant-Man looks the same today? Yeah, Ant-Man's Paul Rudd, if anybody at home doesn't know that. Where are you at, James?
Have you seen Clueless?
I can't see you.
Well,
There
because
you
you're
are.
clueless on that type of talk.
Hey, give me the 3 names again.
Clueless was before this movie.
That's what I'm saying. Motherfucker hasn't aged since.
He looks pretty old in Ant-Man.
Okay,
right.
I haven't
What's
watched.
their names, Brad?
Marvels.
Tell me the names again.
David is played by Paul Rudd. Cal is played by Seth Rogen, and Jay is played by Romani Malco. You may know him from a million little things right now that you're watching with your lady friend.
He's also on the
Genie
TV
for
show
nobody.
Weeds.
Yeah, Weeds was good.
Weeds, yeah, definitely. Weeds is good.
Oh,
He was on
So
there.
go ahead, Devin. I want to know who you're fucking. Who you're marrying.
James is the last guy's name.
For the love of God, Jay. Brandy's reading a book. She's on chapter 3 with the way I'm presenting this.
All right, so Dave is his name.
It's a funny movie, damn it. We all should know who they are. I'm giving Brandy time, but get the hell with the rest of you. I had texted you guys 2 days ago.
All right, this is easy. I got
Yeah.
this. So I'm marrying Cal. He's too similar to my life. We're out there. We're we're just too similar. I'm marrying Cal. We'll get along way too easily. And then I'm fucking Jay because he seems to already know what it's like in the bed. I feel like he's got a lot of experience there, so he'll treat me right. And then that just leaves David, and he's heartbroken anyways. So I'm just gonna have to let him go.
And David will be upset. Mike,
Yeah.
go ahead, dude.
All right. Well, I'm gonna kill Jay because he's a player. I don't want none of that shit coming up on me. There ain't no telling what shit he got. Cal, Cal, I'll go ahead and fuck him. He's, it looks like he can have a good time, so I'll go ahead and just fuck him. And David, I feel bad for him. He is like Devyn said, he's heartbroken, everything else. I'll just bring him right back to life.
So you're gonna marry him because you feel bad for him?
Yeah, I mean, he needs somebody to treat him right.
That's a great way to start a divorce. Good answers, Mike. Coach.
I wish I knew women that thought that way. Like, you know what?
You got your Pam Beasley.
Well, you guys know I analyze all my F, Mary kills because it's very important for me to give accurate, correct answers. Number 1, Cal. That's my daughter's boyfriend. I don't know what the hell you call it, but fuck him. You're dead. Anybody named Cal, you're done. I don't even care if you're the fucking Pope. You're done. You're dating my daughter. Done. Paul Rudd. I don't know what character his what's his character?
Well, he's
David.
He's recently broken up. And he's in love. Very friendly, though. Very nice.
That's the guy I want to marry. Paul Rudd makes me laugh. He's got kind of a dry sense of humor. I don't know if that would carry on to his real life persona, but I'm going to go with it. And you said the other guy was a gigolo. Well, if he's a gigolo, he knows how to get down. So for an hour or two, I'll experience him.
I like it.
You better triple wrap it.
I'm a juggalo.
I'll experience.
Not a juggalo. I hate the Insane Clown Posse.
I know, but I
whoop whoop. Sorry. Oh, believe me, if any of my Oklahomies watch this, I rip on the strange music, Tech Nine Juggalos. I rip on them all the time. All the time.
Shout out to the oddities.
Yeah, shout out. Hey, they actually had a good theme song though. That's
That
the
was
only
good.
one of the
It was
two
good.
ICP songs I like.
I like
I'm an oddity, and this is an oddity.
Brandi, have you had enough time to know who these guys are anyway?
I think so. I am going to marry Cal because I think he would be the easiest to get along with and the easiest to live with, and would probably do good at making me feel better about myself. I would fuck David because maybe a good lay will make him feel better. But on the other hand, if he's going to be self-destructive and self-deprecating and like all that's my lane. So
That's like a public service.
go.
You're doing a nice public service by doing
Oh my
that.
gosh,
That's
she's
very
doing a
kind of
good
you.
job here. I'm so happy.
And I'm going to kill Jay because I don't do sleeping around and Lord knows what diseases he has, as Mike pointed out, and I don't want any of that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm bringing my daughter in. Cal, I just said on the show tonight, Cal, I'm going to kill him. I love you, baby.
Oh. Awkward, huh? It's cool, Coach. Thanks.
That's
man.
two special guests this episode.
Adam.
Well,
I would
3
like
if you count the cat.
Please, sir.
Oh yeah, it's true, Sapphire.
Is your kid out of the room, Coach?
Yeah, please.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
All right.
Jeez.
I kicked her right out.
Oh.
She didn't even hear what was going on. I just texted her. I
Thank
feel like-
God.
So I'd
He's
marry
actually a nice
Cal, kill David, and FJ.
You know, it's not bad to fuck a player, right?
Hey, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might
He knows
show
what
me
he's doing.
something.
We know he knows what he's doing.
He might show me something. I doubt it. He might show me something.
All
And
right.
if he's like his baby, he's hung because he says it right there. His baby got him. He's hung.
My girlfriend found your speed dating card. Tell her how that's your speed dating card. She found yours. Yeah, that's my speed dating card. Oh, you wrote ho for show. Yeah, ho
For show.
for show. That's me. Such a great movie.
It is such a great movie. Brandi, I after we're done recording tonight, if you could go ahead and throw that on. It's only about an hour and 40 minutes right before bed.
What year did that movie come out?
2005.
That sounds about when Ed Prather
I was in
40.
high school.
But it's also the Ruth Depression era.
We do know a 40-year-old virgin, don't we?
49.
I was trying to keep
49-year-old
going.
virgin.
I was trying to keep going. James?
Well, you already previously stated that you sent us this in that message thread. And honestly, I convey with my other cohorts here that when you mentioned that, I honestly thought you were talking about one of our fans, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool, 40-year-old virgin." Ha ha ha! I get it because
Anthony's married. Anthony's married. He has kids.
Not that one, but
No comment.
yeah. So I didn't know that this was going to be the topic of the FMK. Moving forward, though, I would say, you got to marry Cal, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll fuck David, and I guess Jay's out because of kind of everyone else's opinion. Or no, I mean y'all are all like, oh, he can hoe me out and show me things, but I'm not gonna agree with that. I have a feeling that he may give you something that won't wash off in the shower with a wire brush, I guess you could say.
Well, after we went to Wild Bill's, it seems like you're doing okay.
Yeah, because I didn't do things that would require said stuff. I was taking never mind. That is a different episode for a different time.
This is a little difficult for me. I am going to go ahead and kill Jay, though, because there's just that moment, that salesman moment. And I hate salesmen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate salesmen because I hate being sold. And he jumps in front, like Andy's actually helping a customer. And he jumps in front of Andy and goes, "Hi there. Can I help you? Get the fuck out of here. You're dead." All right. Cal, Seth Rogen. I don't know if we're compatible on a sexual level, but I'm going to fuck him once because I think I really need to be with David. I think me and him can complain together, watch TV together.
Watch This Is Us.
Yeah, I think he would watch this. He should have been on an episode, really. He would be on an episode. I mean, he was in those movies with Jennifer Aniston back in the day. So, but that's again, that's Paul Rudd. That's not David.
Right.
However, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead with David. I'm gonna marry David. I'm gonna fuck Cal. And I'm gonna kill Jay because Jay's too much of a salesman. So,
Nice.
I appreciate everybody participating. Brandi, thanks so much for being a good sport. Because you never know how.
Of course, and if any of y'all know one of those men that will marry you because they feel sorry for you, hook a girl up.
His name is Ed Prather, and I have his number. I'll send it to you.
Ed Prather's what we call a slump buster.
That's a hard pass.
Oh, jeez.
Poor Ed.
Put him over too much.
That's staying in because I ain't going through the effort to
He's
take
a
it
slump
out.
buster.
That one. You
Our new
sewed your own
t-shirt.
grave. Yeah, dug it with that one.
So James, I'm gonna kick out Cruitt back to you.
Oh, well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Pretty much, I believe Adam and Rosey, haven't really discussed their little topics. I think Rosey will be. What you got, Rosey? You got anything golden?
Well, I really enjoyed doing the historical outlook on the years that we dealt with last week. So this week, I asked Brad if I can do between 2002 and 2010. So what I focused on, because in today's world, the internet is huge. And in 2005, man, we got 2 of the top 5 websites or apps, whatever you want to call it, still today in 2022, started in 2005. You guys want to take a guess on any of the top 5 websites, apps in the world today that might have been created in 2005? Take a guess, fellas.
Amazon.
Facebook.
YouTube, correct. Listen to that, young buck. February
What about Google?
14th, Valentine's Day,
Oh.
2005, YouTube launched. And look where we are today.
Really?
YouTube is basically a major network. And that all started 17 years ago. I mean, that's crazy to think of where we are now, where we were then to where we are now. How about another guess?
Apple.
eBay.
How about Reddit? Now, I don't understand Reddit, and I wanted to ask Devyn about this because you're young, or Brandi. What is this thing with Reddit and wrestling? I have never been on Reddit one time in my life. don't even know what the website is. But it started in 2005. What is that website all about, or that app?
Okay, so Reddit is basically like an old school message board. It's separated by different categories, and you go into the one that you want. Like for wrestling, the big subreddit or the small space that you go to is called Squared Circle. So you go to Squared Circle to post about the different stuff going on in wrestling, share articles, talk about news, rumors, stuff like that. It's just a message board.
Interesting. Now I want to
There's
double
also a
check this.
cesspool.
Oh, well, I'm all about that. But I also wanted to double check one last thing, because I think this was also the case. Yes, it was. What television show, probably one of the most popular sitcoms in the history of television, started March 24th, 2005?
Man,
How I Met Your Mother.
What is it?
King of the Hill.
it's always
Not
sunny.
The Office, 2005.
What the fuck is wrong with us, guys?
We
Never
just
talked
talked about
about The
Carell
Office.
too.
Freaking David's girlfriend was the. Come on.
He's talking about Steve Carell.
Never watched it.
What the hell? Yeah,
It's
seriously.
actually fun. I went
It's
to the Office pop-up experience in Chicago with Mark Nelson and Michael Amend last year. It was a lot of fun because they had a lot of the set pieces and different props, and you could recreate iconic moments from the show. It was pretty cool, and it's a funny show. My
hilarious.
favorite line
And very-
right now
very
is
unique. Unique to the time. Very different. You know, that whole mockumentary thing from back then was like, you know, you remember the movies Best in Show, Spinal Tap. This show eliminated those movies because they became just everyday TV. Great stuff,
Yeah.
Coach. What else you
Yeah.
got?
So that's all I have. That's
All right.
I kind of stole that from Devyn and his demographic. I wanted to bring a little bit of social news, and the world has changed. Just think, 17 years ago, these things have popped up, and they've made such a huge difference in where we are today in 2022. I know we're a wrestling show. I know we're a pop culture show, but when it comes to Reddit, when it comes to YouTube, they cover everything. I bet you all of us go on YouTube at least once a day.
Shit.
And I bet probably
All the time.
3/4 of us have seen the entire Office series. So 2005 and even between that 2002 to 2010 sequence of years, that was a major change. I mean, we had the housing crash of 2008. There was a lot going on. We had President Obama getting elected in 2008. I mean, this was a dramatic time of change in our country and our world and in professional wrestling. Not only did the ladies get respect during this time, but a lot of things changed worldwide to make today a better place.
Very true.
I bet Devin stays on YouTube watching Sammy Guevara videos.
Oh yeah, with the
Watch his
lock
vlog
the
every
doors
Tuesday.
and turn the lights
too.
down low.
I
I'm
watched
watching
If you're
Coach.
gonna watch a vlog, at least watch a quality vlog and watch Ethan Page's vlog.
I watched
They don't
that
have
one.
it anymore. It got canceled. He took it off.
He
I
still
watch
does
his
the toy
toy hunt.
videos though.
Yeah, I
I keep
like
seeing
those.
those pop up in my feed.
Yeah, that and the elite, the elite.
I like
Get
how
out
Kip
of here with that
Sabian,
for a second.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
Kip
no-
Sabian got a lot of love on
every week,
Sammy's
every
vlog
fucking
this
week.
week. When Kip Sabian comes back, you watch out. He is primed for a big push.
I
So
don't see
underrated.
that happening at all.
Underrated.
I hope you're right.
Me too.
When he comes back, if he gets a big push, I have two friends of mine that are just going to lose their ever loving minds. Sini, my girl in Finland, and of course my Becky in upstate New York. They love Kip Sabian.
And
Upstate
I
New
love him
York.
too.
I love Penelope.
Nice.
You can have her.
All right.
Oh. Well, thanks for that, Rosie. Appreciate it. Adam, there any topic this week you want to discuss?
Just a couple of quick shout outs to some folks that show us love on Twitter. Just a small list. I want to holler at RJ and
That's what she
JD
said.
at the Ringside Rant. Reffing it up with Brian Hebner and RJ. Ted Hill, the Hillbilly Hill, and the Hill Truth. Mike Freeland and the Daily Wrestling News Podcast. Mike Thunder and the Mike World Order. The Apron Bump Podcast, Dirty Hills Podcast, Too Sweet Podcast, the Heat Wrestling Podcast, Wrestling with the MMA, Shining Wizard Wrestling Podcast, Augusto All Elite Podcast with Richie Augusto. If I butchered your name, brother, I'm sorry. The Union Smack Podcast, 2300 Wrestling Podcast, and of course, Top Guy Theater. And can't forget about Brian Haremza, Ed Prather, James Sorensen, Zoe Lopez, Big Money Mike, Anthony Pyrus, which one of Brad's good friends.
Beat the shit out of me last week.
Did
you ever file charges?
You know what? I'm a man's man.
Another court case?
If you need a lawyer, let me know. Dave McClay, Ryan Lennox, Sean Jones, my buddy Cabana Mandan, Frank Bruno, Michael Amin. Shout out to Pops Randy Elkarai.
Yeah.
Can't forget about Devyn's grandmother.
love
Hey,
her.
grandma.
And then last but not least, Rico Rosenbaum, aka Ethan, the
Proud of you,
teenage
son.
Gigolo.
Love you.
Casanova.
And just thank you guys for all the support, everything y'all do on Twitter for us. It means a lot. And without you guys, we probably wouldn't be near where we are now. So thank you, everybody. And if I forgot, you forgot your name, I apologize. Hit me up. I will make sure
Keep
to do it.
listening, please.
Yeah. Keep listening and retweet us that we did miss you, and then we will not miss you because
No
of that.
problem.
So, you know,
DM me personally if you want to.
I can't even keep up with my notes on this, let alone all these names. But I appreciate it too. Thank you for that, Adam, so much.
damn. You know what else is outstanding and quite a little fanfare? Well, look no further than Mickie James versus Tara in a steel cage match. Now, from what I think, which this may be wrong, and Lord knows our fans will let us know, I think this was taped on December 6th, but it aired December 9th of 2010 from the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. The match length was a little over 11 minutes. Great stuff here, honestly. I do know the capacity is cited as 1,400 for the Impact Zone. Who knows with standing areas and special main event type stuff, they may have crammed a little more people in there. But match is really good and, one of my favorites. But hey, Devyn, take it away.
All right. So Tara, who was formerly known in WWE as Victoria, she was kind of running roughshod with Madison Rayne in TNA. And then in 2010, Mickie James joined the Federation. Mickie was immediately jumped by Tara, and Tara started blaming Mickie for being the reason that she was let go from WWE pretty much. Their feud kind of started out just based off that. They had a couple scraps right on TNA where they're attacking each other. And then at a Falls Count Anywhere match at New Year's Resolution 2010. And Tara would end up getting the victory in that match. She actually won in the women's bathroom. Madison Rayne came out and sneak attacked Mickie.
You mean one like Mike Whitaker won in the bathroom?
There was no mirrors.
The floor of a bathroom. Better put an extra
Yeah.
cheese on that paycheck. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I would like to stay off the floor for sure.
Yeah.
But
I landed on my feet.
This is just the rematch of their match from Final Resolution. This time it's in a cage match, and like James said, it's right on Impact Wrestling. And I think it's a great match.
Brandi, so we're going to go ahead and break this down. Is this your favorite version of Mickie James? Hardcore
I think it is.
country.
Although I do have a soft spot for her initial character in WWE as the psycho obsessed possible romantic interest of Trish Stratus, that still has a place in my heart. But yes, I do love hardcore country. I think TNA Impact has always used Mickie in the best light possible. They've always given her her just desserts. This is a woman who worked her way up through the independent scene at the very beginning of the Ruthless Aggression era, working in TNA in the early days as a member of Raven's Flock with CM Punk, and went through Shimmer and a whole bunch of indies up and down the Eastern Seaboard to get to the WWE and eventually back to Impact Wrestling. And I think they used the cage correctly because, as Devyn talked about, they had a couple of matches before that. It wasn't really decisive, and they're like, all right, we're going to put you guys in a cage because you guys can't handle this, and we're going to make sure that you take care of it this time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Like that.
Pinfall, submission, or escape, Adam. Is it okay to escape the cage? I'm going to ask this every single time.
It's okay to escape it as long as you get back in there and win the match. I mean, hey, the way I was brought up, you want to win a match, you pin them or make them submit. You don't run away out of the cage. That's what the cage is for.
Is this a Southern thing?
That's wrestling, baby. Come on,
Wrestling,
man.
baby, with an R, wrestling.
We wouldn't have a fucking track meet. We'd have a track meet. Get in there and
Actually,
fight.
the escaping the cage thing to win, that's a Northern invention.
Right.
Actually, that's a Vince Sr. decision, so that you could do a cage match with a smudge finish because there wasn't actually a decisive finish. So don't
I'm
blame the
Northern
Southerners
guy,
for this
but
one.
what are
It's been
you?
goddamn Yankees.
You're way northern. You're way northern up there in Alaska. So you should
That's
be on board with
Western.
that.
I know, but
Western.
it just happens.
Now,
Mike,
if you're gonna escape the cage, go to the bathroom, do what you gotta do, then come back and finish the match.
All right. I can
Because
use
you
that.
pin or submit. That's how you win the match.
Mike, what did you think about this being the main event?
I liked it. I liked it. It was a good match. Nothing I liked about it is the style of the cage, because it's different from WWE's version. So I did like the style of the cage, the way they had it set up and stuff like that.
So, Coach, I have a two-part question for you.
Go ahead.
So Madison Rayne is the champ at this time, and Mickie James has to beat her to get in there to face her. Is the victory by Mickie James ever in doubt?
No, because anytime they usually say that this person has to win this match to get this match, I think we've all been preconditioned to know that the person's going to win. I mean, but for someone that's just watching the show, they probably wouldn't know. But one of the biggest things from this match was for TNA to go from their regular program to go to whatever that extra was at the end. I believe that was the first time that they ever carried the show on to whatever they called their after show. What did they call their after show? Revolution or
Reaction.
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 Right.
Yeah, Devyn.
So, yeah, this was the first time that they ever drew that crowd in, and I didn't even know they had that extra show. So that was huge for them. But the biggest thing I think from this match, and I did have to confirm this with somebody, was the camera from the top of the ring. They had a camera at the very top of the roof looking down, and it was the first time really I think they gave that perspective, because usually from a cage match, we're looking through the cage and it's very hard to see. A lot of people don't like seeing cage matches, but this was the first time they took a camera from the very top and shot it down. It did make the ring look a little bit small, but it really added to the fight feel of this match.
Yeah, it took that from the UFC matches.
Yeah, boxing instead of like big fight feels always have that one,
Was this the
overhead.
4 or 6-sided ring?
No, they
It was
were in
four.
Okay.
And
Go
I
ahead.
think this was the match, but didn't Tara take a weird bump on her hip off of some top rope move? Was
Off
that,
the
Correct.
middle rope,
Off
yeah.
the
It's not a
corner,
rough
yeah.
to look at for sure.
Adam, was that a botch or what happened there?
Looked like she lost her balance. She tried to power up Mickie James, and trying to fall back at the same time. And I think when she did, she didn't have enough control to turn her around for the power bomb. So I think they just both landed funny because it looked like she's trying to attempt the power bomb from the top, and it didn't get time right, and she just didn't get her around enough. So it was, I guess you can call it a botch because she didn't finish the move, but yeah, it looked like it hurt.
Devyn, both these women are former WWE superstars. Were they used better here?
I don't know. I believe that Mickie probably was, because she is able to use her own character, able to get more in her own stories. She was put away from that late in her WWE career. She was booked against Michelle McCool and Layla and thrown in that Mickie James angle. And that kind of like tarnished her career towards the end of WWE. So I really think that her coming to TNA, she was able to break out of that shell and become the hardcore country Mickie James that we really know today. Victoria, on the other hand, I feel like she kind of took Tara. I'm sorry.
No, call her Victoria. Because the hell with that terrible shit.
Well, I think she was utilized better in the WWE. Like she was able to get behind that, that demented character that she had. Where in TNA, she was always kind of behind Madison Rayne, or eventually, like as you'll see, 6 months, 8 months after this, she ends up being behind Mickie James as her bodyguard type character.
James, did you think this was a split crowd? And if so, what did you think of the reaction at all?
Well, I will say that there were very, very deafening dueling chants of the, let's go, let's go Tara, let's go Mickie. I mean, like ridiculously, loud and dueling. And it happened, I would say 80% of the match, it would die down at some points, but then definitely restart. The thing I like about the commentary of this match is they keep mentioning the importance of how, this is a first cage match. These women's like our women here headline, they do this type of stuff. This is the opportunities you can have here. Like they really, really hammer that. TNA and Taz, I believe, is on commentary, and they really, really Mike TNA. Sorry for those who don't know. Mike TNA and Taz with who knows how many Z's were on commentary, but they really do hammer home the fact that it's this is a big time deal. Like they really, really sell it, and I like that. Once again, as we go through these matches in the commentary, it gets a little more respectful, a little more like bought in, stuff like that. So it's cool to see and definitely cool to hear.
Do you think the Impact Zone sucks?
Yeah.
No.
I'm asking. I don't have an opinion.
Yes and no, I guess. You probably have the potential to do something bigger, but what you can do there. Like you can set it up and do whatever you want to and have it sound and look however. You can alter that building because that building. But probably missing out on like traveling live and maybe building a fan base with live shows and stuff.
So the way this match
ends,
ends,
they're also not making any money. They didn't charge admission for this. They didn't make any money. And a vast majority of the people that are coming in to get into the air conditioning to get out of the heat in Florida.
Been there.
Yeah.
So the ending of this match is pretty incredible. Mickie James off the top of the cage in a different way, not a splash.
It was like a Thez press.
Knees first, right? Was that what it was?
Well, but you gotta hold on before you get to the finish. You have to talk about the fact that it pretty much went off air, but then continued on the reaction thing. I always thought that was pretty cool. Don't change. We're coming back. Like the TNA reaction, whatever it was called. I thought that was a cool way to hype up something.
No, you're right.
Made it seem a little more important.
You're right. Incredible finish. She off the top of the cage, and there's not much more to say after that to me. I mean, that was an amazing knees. It looked like she got hurt to me, but
yeah.
Her elbow looked swollen in the match. Tara's did.
Yeah.
Her elbow looked bad. Her right arm looked bad.
This is so. I'm going to get into this a little bit, just real quick. I know we're running short on time here, but this is 2010. So technically, according to the WWE standards, this is after the ruthless aggression. But you cannot say this match is not ruthless aggression because it's inside of a cage. She's going off the top. So it really, we're not limiting ourselves to the time period here as much. We're also talking about what kind of matches that were that were also going on outside of the WWE. because
Well, they
WWE
have
's
a
not
past.
everything.
They have a past that deals with the ruthless aggression too, don't they?
Yes, for sure.
Like,
This was TNA's first women's main event, wasn't it?
Yes, and it was also just just doing anything. This was a brutal match. There was a lot of heavy hits inside thrown against the cage. It was very believable, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, those two women are great workers. I mean, I'd love to see both of them today because they both could handle it.
And she's still around today. They're both still around today. So I'm going to ask.
Victoria is technically retired.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't
So
know that.
good thing.
Check his ass, Brandi. Check.
For
Shut the
real.
fuck up, Brad. Right? Am I right?
We need
Brandi-
Brandi here more often.
Brandi,
She's
real
totally
quick,
retired.
we're going to go ahead and finish this match. But I want to ask you, how important is Mickie James to the ruthless aggression era?
I think she's very important because she started at the bottom. At the beginning of this era, she's working her way up on the indies for, $40 and a hot dog to learn her craft and to get better. And she ends it in this December of 2010 in a main event spot on a first televised cage match between women, and proving that, she's got everything that you're looking for. She's charismatic. She can make things look good in the ring. She can make it look like it hurts. I really don't think there's few people that are more influential from this era than Mickie James.
Awesome. She flirted with me on the Zoom. Just want to let you know that.
oh Jesus!
She said
She is so sweet. I was at WrestleCon 2015 in California, and I was walking through the hallway because the hotel was connected to the meeting space where the convention was. And I actually passed her and Nick Aldis in the hallway with their baby. She was going that way towards the convention. I had to go back to my room. So we actually exchanged pleasantries, and I held the door for them and the baby, and Nick stayed behind and held the door for me. And it was really cute.
That's good.
Nice.
Well, she flirted with me for sure on the Zoom. I'm just getting back to that because I can't let it go. I congratulated her on that DDT because I think it's one of the best moves there are. And she said real close, she goes, "I have a secret." I said, "What?" She goes, "No one's ever kicked out from it." And she was just talking to me, none of you guys. Just want to
Yeah.
But I felt
Yes,
it.
she was. I noticed the same thing, Brad. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, I have it. I can play it for you guys.
It was obvious.
God, I bet you do.
I'm sure you do. I'm
Yeah.
sure you do.
I'll tell you what, I was pretty excited. Anyway, that's it for this match. It was a great match. Very, very,
That's hilarious.
very rough. But at the same
The
time,
best of the three. The best.
definitely
of the
the
three.
best of the three.
Absolutely.
I thought all three matches were a step up from last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Absolutely.
You
Head
can
and
see the
shoulders
difference
above
in
last
the
week's
ring for
matches.
sure from the ruthless aggression just a year later up until 2010 from last week. Do you have something going on over there, Mike?
I'm waiting on somebody to show up.
Yeah. Can you keep the show on the road?
Yeah.
Well, and then speaking of like the last matches compared to these matches, and moving forward, like now we're starting to get to where like we're watching matches and not
But we will
rough
be
and
taking a
tumble
step back.
like
from games, won't we?
clothesline, roll over the floor.
I think we're going to take a step back in the next era, though, won't we?
Well,
Mhm.
We'll try to pick some good ones for you.
One step forward, two steps back.
ain't that the truth?
Unfortunately,
Opposites
because
definitely
Johnny
attract.
Ace would like to look through women's clothing catalogs and be like, I want that one, and I want
Yeah.
that one, and I want that one.
So,
Can I
Anyway,
tell my
Steve.
John Laurinaitis story real quick?
well, you're
It's
the
your
one
show. Go ahead.
Does it have
Okay,
pending
so this-
litigation?
that you think we have
No,
something, Coach.
This was hilarious. We're at the supermarket, my wife and I and my kids, and he's at the self checkout. He lives in Phoenix. He's dating he was dating Bella's mom, and he was really rude to us. And my wife, sure as shit, said to him, "You know what? You're a dick." My kids really liked people power, and they really liked and they laughed at you, but you're a jerk. And we just walked off.
That's
Shout out to
awesome.
my wife.
Good for her.
That was good, Coach. I like that.
Lynette, shout out.
Yeah, she's a good one.
All right.
Well, I guess it's,
there were some questions, though, James.
Yeah, let's hit those
let's
questions.
hit 'em, yeah.
Anybody have them?
I didn't know we had them. Nobody told me.
Devyn's playing baby
I
stuff.
actually
Holy-
collected some questions.
And not just that, we got some from the first match. Damn it.
Hit him up. We're ready.
Oh yeah. Brandy's got who you got?
Conrad
You
waits
got
to
the
the
same
end. Why
questions.
not
or
us?
different
Mickie
questions?
versus
No,
Tara.
I just reached out to different friends of mine and said, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm on the Kick Out crew this week, and this is what we're talking about. If you got any questions, let me know.
And they said, "What the fuck is that?" And you were like, "Hey."
Exactly.
But hey, we're growing every day. The numbers don't lie. As they say.
We're growers, not showers. It's okay.
Right.
Brandi, go ahead. Ask a question.
All right. So my friend Alex from Ireland said, if you could pick a couple of people from this era to work today, who would it be? Now, his idea was you take one person from, say, 2002 to 2005, and then one person from like 2006 to 2010. And my choices would be China for the 2002 to 2005 era. And then for the end of the era, I would definitely like to see Beth Phoenix in today's wrestling.
Freaking Adam's getting a chubby over there, that's for sure. I'm gonna go with Molly.
My bad. What?
I'm gonna go with Molly Holly, and I admittedly wasn't watching as heavy. I was watching, but not as much as I should have. Like I said, I had a new baby back then, and I was a little distracted. But I think Molly Holly just changed things, and I would like to have seen her. I think she could still go, actually. So I would pick Molly Holly. Anybody else?
Well,
I would go with what about Lita? How do you think Lita would do right now?
I think she would be
I
fantastic.
think Lita would
because she was
do
extremely
great.
athletic.
Lita and
Extremely-
Trish for sure. But I mean,
Lita,
that's
Trish.
kind of like the default
Ivory.
answers, though.
And I do agree with
Great
China. I
answer.
think China would do good right now too. And
Mhm.
she has the women she can work with as well right now.
Ivory, Victoria.
And I think what's different what you guys talked about in the last episode with China is I think there's the infrastructure and the awareness in place that China would be able to deal with her mental health issues and her addiction issues if they were still a problem. She would have a community, she would have support, not unlike backup.
True.
Absolutely.
I got to throw in Alicia Fox. She
Yeah.
started in 2009. I loved Alicia Fox. Loved her.
Underrated.
Thanks. So.
Very underrated.
I'm glad you brought her up because she was one of the people that Johnny Ace picked out of a catalog. But unlike Kelly, who was just happy to be there and rest on her pretty little laurels, she actually dove headfirst into her new business. They would go into the closet in Stamford and they have DVDs and merchandise and all kinds of stuff that you could take. And they were both given boxes full of DVDs. Well, Kelly's sat unopened and people would like steal them out of the box and nobody would notice. Whereas Alicia devoured everything and continued to come back for more and actually really applied herself and tried to get into this new business that she found herself into.
Agreed.
The one woman that I wish would come back to the WWE, we just seen her at the last Royal Rumble, but it's the Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool. She had
No
everything.
thanks. No, she
Randy's ready
didn't.
to kick your fucking ass.
I think she was
Yes,
awesome.
I am.
She killed him.
no.
She killed everybody
Quite
at
frankly,
dodgeball,
she's
though,
as
Brandy.
bland as fuck.
Yeah.
And this whole bad girl, mean girl image, when you're walking out here covered in Christian imagery, can we say hypocrite much? She
Maybe you
could
guys
get
should
by.
try
Summer Rae.
She could barely work. And she didn't know how to deliver the Styles Clash effectively. And she almost hurt people all the time.
Boom. Devin, what do you know?
I guess nothing.
Now Brandy's pissed. Thanks,
The
Devin.
child.
So
The
Mickie,
only
never
thing
get-
she was really good at was getting the Undertaker's eyeliner nice and tight.
I thought he
Mickey
did that himself.
Mickie versus Tara in a
No,
steel cage match where the crowd was chanting for almost 2 minutes straight needs to be talked about more. Did you guys even hear what they were chanting? This is from Muck Zula.
Let's go, Tara. Let's go, Mickey. Like, it was that. Is he probably talking about the dueling chants? Because
Yeah.
went on forever and ever and ever. Hey, I'm all for it. You know, it's crowd interaction. And this is also around. Is this the same era of the fuck off Cena or whatever Cena sucks
Yeah,
stuff?
same era.
Actually, one thing
He wasn't there yet. He wasn't there yet, was he?
I don't know.
He was there. I mean, not that chant. That's what I meant.
one thing I had in my notes, and I'm going to go back to the Beth Phoenix match. There was a small chant that started that we want China.
Okay.
I heard that. Yeah, I did hear that.
So, who's ready to get their thinking caps on? Because we have a Michael McClanahan.
Oh,
Money,
Lord.
money, money, money.
All right,
All right.
I'll
So-
try to cipher it out for you guys. Go
Get
ahead.
my dictionary out. People like to say that Becky Bailey woo!
All
Bailey,
right.
Becky Bailey Lynch. So Bailey and Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and the lovely Miss Charlotte, such an asshole,
Oh God.
are the four horsewomen women responsible for the evolution of the WWE product. Who do you believe were the four horsewomen of the early mid 2000s? Cite specific examples in your
cite these.
such a pain in the ass. I know he loves doing
No
this shit.
chance. We'll give you the 4, Mike, but we're not going to explain it. Give us the 4, everybody.
I have two
All right.
right off the bat.
Yeah, Trish Lita for sure.
Yes.
Exactly. The
There you
women's
go.
revolution
have to.
started long before Becky, Bailey, Sasha, and Little Miss Princess.
Then I have to say
Okay.
Molly Holly in
The
there.
women's evolution began with China in
Yeah.
showing that a woman could be something other than beauty, that she could have a different kind of beauty, that she could be believable against a man and be successful. And that continued to roll on as other women came in who were different. Trish was different from what they had. Lita was very different. Victoria was very different. Molly Holly was very different. And without these women paving the way, there would be no Sasha, there would be no Becky, there would be no Bailey, and there would definitely maybe not be no Charlotte.
And I really appreciate that they put them all in the Royal Rumble and in the Revolution because of that, because I do feel they paved the way. So my answers would be Lita, Trish, Molly, and China.
And honestly, the evolution started long before that, and it started with the Japanese style influence, who influenced a Alundra Blaze, Medusa Michelli. You had the women who came over, Bull Nakano, Akira Hokuto, Manami Toyota. And while wrestling was dying over here in the 90s and in the Attitude Era, it was still thriving in Japan. And all these women helped influence a style that is continuing to influence the American style. We also had the Japanese crossover with Shimmer. They brought across many Japanese talent. Awesome Kong was trained and came from Japan before she worked in America. Also very different. So honestly, we gotta thank the Japanese women.
Awesome.
And don't forget about Christy Hemme, the first Diva winner.
Correct.
Mm.
Other than that, I think we have one more question I just want to get to because this is Big Zol Lopez. I don't think this is even true. So
Probably isn't with Zol.
I think he's full of shit on this question.
Collusion.
Right.
Love you, Zol. Why was Molly Holly overlooked in this era? I don't think
Oh, fuck
was
you,
fucking
Zol.
champion.
She wasn't overlooked.
She
She's
wasn't
the Hall of Famer, jackass.
Well,
How could she be overlooked if she's the
She
Hall of
wasn't
Famer?
yet. Jeez.
I
Why?
think I know what he's talking about.
All right.
Probably because Trish is looked at as the blonde, big breast. Lita had the high.
God damn, Mike, you're getting
Hey,
CIA.
guys, I'm gonna kick off real quick. I got a quick run in. I got my sister,
Hey, girl.
Bye.
Mike's
Hey.
sister.
and this is her fiance, Jackie.
Hello.
Hey,
Mike's
Jackie,
sister's
nothing
fiance.
They
like
just did
having
a 10-hour
feminine
drive and popping it open up here.
you're damn right. Hey,
So
shout
you're
out.
the reason we're doing this at midnight on a Thursday,
Yeah.
huh?
There's a,
Holy
yeah,
shit.
there's a reason we're doing this at midnight, so I can spend the weekend with them.
Sorry,
guys. So,
Nice to meet you.
they just when I got here. I wanted to jump them on real quick and all that stuff. I'll be out in just a little bit. All right, we're good.
No,
You're coming in from a UFO.
Is that you, Devyn? Devyn, is that you?
No, it's
No,
Mike.
you can say right here if you want. Do what?
He's probably looking at it as far as like, Trish was, she wore the stuff to kind of enhance herself, blonde, short shorts. Lita showed her thongs all the time. Molly Holly just come out and wrestled. She didn't have to have her stuff out, blonde hair. And because of that, I don't think she was maybe noticed as much as Lita because they did that.
She shaved her damn head, Adam.
Other than that, I mean,
and she won a championship. I don't know. I don't agree.
They just showed Sable, Trish, all them more because of the looks, and Molly Holly was more of the worker.
I got you.
That's probably why. I don't think
She's-
she was overlooked. I don't think she was.
She's the Cesaro of the group.
I mean,
right?
if she ever got a title match or had great title runs, which she did, she's a Hall of Famer. She's someone that women continue to cite as an inspiration. She wasn't overlooked. She just wasn't given enough of a spotlight compared to the other women because she didn't fit the conventional beauty standard or the thing that Vince wanted to see on his screen, which was blonde hair and big tits.
Thank you.
But she wasn't ugly either. Like, we make it
No,
so
she's not
Girl.
ugly. She's
She was a good-looking
very
woman.
beautiful. She's just not the
She was.
conventional blonde
She
hair,
was the
blue
whole
eyed.
girl next door type,
She has a girl next door, Molly.
Mighty Molly.
Mighty Molly. All right, I'm done with questions.
So, well, you know what else
Zol,
is
you
beautiful?
killed it. Sorry, you killed all of us, Zol. How dare you? With your horribly shitty question.
Well, hey, if we're all killed, well, you know it can fire us all up. Something really beautiful, and that's Mike's Meek Minute. So, Mike, what you got this week?
Today I got something pretty good. I'm doing a 3-2-1 ribs. So what you want to do with this? Get your smoker set up. Do about 250 and make sure you get your temperature nice and good. Everything else, season your meat. Throw your ribs on there, bone down. Let them cook for 3 hours. After 3 hours,
on what
pull
temperature?
them off.
On what
At
temperature?
250. And you keep it at 250 the whole time. Cook it for 3 hours. After 3 hours, you pull it off. You're gonna wrap it nice and good in aluminum foil.
Be careful when you're wrapping your meat.
Always be careful. Double wrap it if you have to. Okay. So then
Too
you
tight can cause a tear.
do what?
Too tight can cause a tear.
Yeah, too tight, so you got to wrap it nice and good.
Yes, but too loose, that juice can get everywhere. You don't want that juice getting into places it's not supposed to be.
Good point, Brandi. Good point.
Exactly. Good
Especially these days.
So you wrap it in aluminum foil, put it back on, opposite side for 2 hours. Let it cook at 250. After 2 hours, you take it off, unwrap it, put it back on for 1 hour. When you're cooking it for that 1 hour, if you like sauce, you can throw your sauce on there in about 30 minutes, 25-30 minutes left. You throw your sauce on there and do what you have to do with it. Let it cook for 1 more hour. You pull it off, but be careful because you do it right. When you pick it up, it's gonna fall right off the bone.
This feels like a fucking porno, right?
I was thinking, like, this is the most
It turned
sexual
into
Mike's
it.
Meek Minute.
Yeah, I'm listening, man. I'm listening,
Why
Mike.
do I just need to start turning the lamps off? And like,
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Wrap it up. Do what you got to do. Take your time.
You gotta do it. I mean, just do
You
it.
ain't gonna wrap it up if you're taking your time.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get your juice everywhere, you're usually pretty good.
Good point.
No, that's why you wrap it up because then all those juices soak in that meat.
Nothing like some juice in the meat, huh?
Hey, the juicier the meat, the
That's
better.
what she said.
Well,
Here's my 3, 2, 1
I
rib.
love
Go
it.
ahead, Brad.
And I'll tell you a
Up to
season.
Devyn.
Listen, I know we're at free shows, and we got Mr. JR with us, but I've tried the Brock Lesnar seasoning
don't you
off
dare.
the chain. Off the chain.
We're canceled.
But JR is good for everything. Brock Lesnar is good for the meats.
All
So I'll give
purpose
JR
season.
that. I'll give JR that. JR, you can put on eggs, you can put in your salad, you can do whatever you want with it. That Brock Lesnar, you throw it on some ribs or a steak, that's good.
Mhm.
There's one sponsorship away.
Well,
Or
also,
maybe
one
one
thing about the
gained.
Brock Lesnar
Brock, shout
seasoning
out
is,
to
you know
us.
how JR, you can only get the little bottles?
Mhm.
With Brock's mix, you can get a goddamn bucket.
Yeah, you can get a big old bucket with it. You can get a 5-gallon bucket of his seasoning. So,
Dear Brock,
I
please remember.
I'm not paying that much for it. I'm going to go buy bottle
Living
by
in a
bottle.
remote place where it takes a long time to get something somewhere, I appreciate being able to buy in bulk and have it on hand for a long period of time. Because I went through my first JR's seasoning, my little bottle, in like 2 months.
Yeah,
Because it's so good.
Well, yes.
it is good.
And
And then
you
it
might
takes
need
another
it.
2 months to get it
you
here.
know. And Mr. Lesnar, do remember that we treated your wife with the utmost respect last week on our episode? Just
Yes,
want to throw
sir.
that out there. You know.
We're afraid.
Other than Ed
Yeah.
Prather did say some bad things, Mr. Lesnar.
Yes, he
My name
did,
is
and I
Ed
think you should
Prather. Make
handle
sure you come look
those
for me.
appropriately and accordingly, and with the quickness.
I can show you where that asshole lives. I know exactly
Yeah.
where he lives.
We can handle this problem expeditiously, sir. If you just give us the green light, we are good to go.
So what's next week?
That's
Oh, we need Devin's demographic.
Sorry again.
Devin's
Devyn's
demographic.
demographic. COVID.
What?
Sorry.
COVID edition of Devyn's demographic.
No, I'm good. Yeah, it's your podcast.
It's a little bit behind this week.
That's what she said.
Hey.
But it was officially announced last week, and I don't think we even touched on it at all. But Sasha Banks has been released by the WWE.
Raj walked that back.
Okay.
By the time
She's
this airs,
all over
who
your
knows what's
bullshit
gonna
tonight,
happen.
and I just want to let you know she has not allowed anything that you've said to be true.
Yeah,
I
normally,
think she feels about the way Ed Prather does.
yeah, must be. I don't know.
At least
But-
I have some journalistic integrity.
All right.
Justin,
To be honest, though, I haven't been able to listen to the news or much like I really would every day, weekly.
yeah, because you don't have
doesn't
time
mean
at home doing zero shit.
It's just I can't focus. But so most of my free time had went to these matches this week, honestly.
Oh, dedication. There you go. Swing it back home.
Devyn's dedication.
Real
There
quick,
it is.
some things before we get into what we're talking about next week. This is something to leave you with this week. Is a hot dog a sandwich? And should barbecue sauce be on pizza? But I'm not going to say anymore.
What about ketchup on pizza?
Don't you dare! Don't you dare bring that! Don't you dare bring that evil to me, Ricky Bobby.
I will say this: I do like barbecue pizza, barbecue sauce on a pizza, and whichever fan wrote into Brad, I agree with you. That's one of the best sauces on a pizza ever. I love barbecue sauce.
He hates it.
On
James Sorensen.
I don't know
If
if
it,
you
if it is
Sorensen-
used as the main sauce, like Rosie's saying, like barbecue chicken, a little barbecue, like whatever. If
Pineapple.
it's used as the main sauce, bomb. I'm with Rosie on this.
Thank you, James Sorensen. Thank you for bringing
And
that up.
RJ thinks a freaking hot dog's a sandwich. I think he's full of shit. But
does
some-
pineapple
Well,
belong
it's
on pizza?
RJ. I mean,
They're
can
weird
talk
in that
about
area
that.
of the woods. Shout out Devyn. They're weird in that neck of the woods in old, New York.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
see, this
Yes.
is
Jesus, we're not doing this.
I like it.
I don't think a hot dog's a
It's
sandwich.
Die Hard a Christmas movie. What the fuck are we doing, guys?
For
For
real.
one cliche after another right now.
So speaking of run-ons and run-ons, I believe what's next week? Speaking of our running on storyline with women's matches,
All right, so
what type of era are we covering next week?
So specifically, it's called the TV and reality area. We're going to combine both of them, and I promise you this time we're really going to combine them. And it's going to be probably about. I mean, really, like we said, according to WWE, the ruthless aggression era ends in 08. But we felt that we were looking at other organizations in 2010. So we're kind of looking at like 2011 to 2015, right before the women's revolution. We don't have any matches yet. By the time you hear this, they will be there, and I'm not going to ramble on like I did last week about what you picked. You already picked them, I promise, or we already picked them. Somebody picked them.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you know what, Devyn, Adam and Mike, you guys did a great job of picking last week. We know James doesn't want to pick. Coach doesn't even give a shit either. He just wants to know what the matches are, and I'm the same way. So I have some ideas for the last week, but you guys can go ahead and throw those out this week again.
Our talents better be utilized with the people that have said talents.
Yeah. And again, Brandi, this has been a real pleasure today. Thank you for bringing a female perspective, because we absolutely needed it. And you taught us some things today that we did not know, and we appreciate it. And thanks for bringing some class to this group of juggalos.
Thanks for keeping Devyn on his toes.
Yeah, Devyn doesn't know
Well,
shit.
thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all doing this series because it's very important. I think people often overlook women's wrestling, and they really shouldn't. And I want to give a shout out to somebody who's been on my mind. His name is Casey. He passed away a couple of years ago. He was the owner and editor of the site Squared Circle Sirens, and I've never seen anyone in my life more passionate about women's wrestling or more knowledgeable. And our world has been less bright without you in it, Casey. And I hope you know that there's a bunch of us that are carrying on in your memory and in your steed, and women's wrestling will never die.
Awesome. Thank you for
that.
That
Boy, Casey.
Is there anywhere we can see some of his stuff?
SquaredCircleSirens.com. His Twitter is also still up at If You Seek Casey.
And Mike, do we have anybody joining us next week?
Yes, we have Amy join us next week. And before I close out real quick, I want to throw my other guest. This is my niece Alexis, and as of 8 minutes ago, my time, it is her birthday.
My birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday!
How old are you, girl? How old are you? How old are you?
14.
Nice.
14? So you're going into 8th grade or 9th grade?
9th grade.
9th grade. Well, good luck in high school. Make sure you do all your homework, and listen to Uncle Mikey.
Oh God.
So this is why she's here
hard
this
to listen
weekend.
to.
Welcome to the Kickout Crew.
Oh, thank you.
All right, go.
What? My birthday, bro. You better be nice to me.
Happy birthday. Get the hell out of here.
I think we have some sort of a record here.
Yeah, hey,
Sorry,
man.
guys. Had to. So
Had a lot of traffic with the previous episode. Have a lot of run-ins with today's. So
Mike
I would
is
say
surrounded
we're
by
on the good
females in
things. We're
Georgia.
on the good things.
I blame Adam because he was late.
Yeah, it's all Adam's fault. It's
Yeah, way
bullshit
to
though.
But I guess as we draw to another thrilling conclusion, Adam has thrown his papers again. For those keeping record, there's an Easter egg. I know what the total count is because somebody alerted me. Adam throws his papers a lot. Like, yeah. You can tell. You can definitely tell when the episode's ending when Adam throws those papers. But before I send it to the guys, we can do our total handles and all that stuff. Brandi, is there anything you want to, promote, plug, shout out, anything like that? Your Twitter handle?
Absolutely. I am at Brandi Writes PW on Twitter, and you can find all of my writing on the last word of prowrestling.com.
Nice. Well, once again, I know I do speak for everybody, but I don't speak for everybody, but we do appreciate having you on today. Thank you for that. Of course, I am at James L. Corai. That is the name on the screen. Figure out how to spell it on your own. But I'll I'm just a dude. But I'm gonna pass it to the crew here. I'll start with Devyn. I know he's got the vid. So Devyn, give the people your Twitters and all that stuff.
I'm Devyn Dowling. You can catch me at DevynD19 on Facebook or on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. On Facebook, I'm Devyn Dowling. But this was a lot of fun bringing you on this week, Brandi, to help us deep dive into Ruthless Aggression era. I thought it was, three more really fun matches, and next week is gonna be 3 more in the reality TV era.
Real shit. Appreciate it, Devyn. He also, we have an Instagram and a TikTok and all that other stuff.
We don't have a TikTok. We have one, but my kids have been checking every day for a video. My kids, and they go, "Dad, you ain't got shit on."
All right, let's do it. Me and you, Coach.
Tell Devyn to get it cracking.
You ain't got shit to do. Put shit on TikTok.
All right, live on the air. I'm posting our very first TikTok.
You got COVID. You can't even go to work for 10 days.
Right,
Get on
there you
that
go.
shit.
COVID's still a thing. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. It's like a political.
Yeah, all right.
I'm
And,
Brad, by the way. I'm Brad at Yes Man Brad on Twitter. Brandi, thank you so much for coming in today. We've been in contact for a little while. We have definitely quoted you on the show a few times, and your knowledge and just keeping us in line, much appreciated.
yeah.
And I'm Mike Whitaker. You can find me at Whitaker1028. Brandi, like everybody else, thank you very much for coming in. Sorry, everybody, for all the interruptions, but I'm going to go spend time with some family.
Yeah. Adam?
Adam_from_Bama. And of course, you know, me and Brandi do Top Guy Theater, so I'm used to her having her ducks in a row. I'm used to her having her knowledge. You know, she always knows what she's talking about. And if you ever say something you don't know what you're talking about, she'll flat tell you, buddy. So I'm used to it. I get a kick out of it because she calls everybody out, especially poor Antonio. She calls him out on a daily basis, and it's hilarious. But thank you for joining us, Brandi, and I'm sure I'll see you in a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Coach?
Real Coach Rosey, StarCast is 30 days away. If you guys are getting out to Nashville, it's going to be epic. Ric Flair's last match. We got a New Japan show. We got a GCW show. We got a MLW show. Come on out to Nashville, and everything is going to be A-okay, because it's going to be a hell of a weekend.
I like that.
All right, y'all.
Love that. That's all of us at the Kickout Crew. You can follow us at Twitter. That is at Kickout Crew. This has been episode 11. And like my favorite, band, Dave Matthews Band says, celebrate we will, because life is short but sweet for certain. And hey, we climb on 2 by 2 to be sure that these things continue. So that's enough about me and for the whole crew here. And, it's your show. So appreciate you listening, and hope everybody has a good time. Thank you for checking us out. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Nope.
Don't forget